The opinions expressed by tonight's guest do not represent the opinions or position of Spaced Out Radio, syndicated carriers, or anyone associated with SOR Media. Listener discretion is advised. Here at Spaced Out Radio, we are about to take you higher. Broadcasting from the Rocky Mountains of Colorado to you listening around the world. This is Spaced Out Sunday with host Tessa Nicole Thomas. You can follow Tessa on our Facebook page at Spaced Out Radio, on Twitter at TessaTNT, and you can subscribe to her YouTube channel. Go to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio for the archive.
But we break on command 'cause women rule the world.
Buckle up, space travelers. Let the countdown begin.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's time to go for a ride with host Tessa Nicole Thomas.
Back home finally after a month of Phoenix, and I'm so happy to be back. It's much cooler than the Phoenix oven. It is Sunday, June 17th, June 18th for those of you on the East Coast and beyond, and this is Spaced Out Radio. Happy Father's Day to all you guys out there, and gals doing the same job. It's great to have you tonight. I hope you guys had an awesome day and an even better evening. I am your host, Tessa Nicole Thomas, live from Bayfield here in beautiful Colorado. We are 150,000 strong nightly on SOR Radio Network, spacedoutradio.com, Spreaker, and we're also live on the Fringe FM. So make sure that you go check out the amazing programming at fringe.fm. Don't forget to head to our website, spacedoutradio.com, where you can visit the Spaced Out Radio store and read the encounter online, dealing with everything strange, paranormal, and odd. You can also check out some great videos from Tim Boyle from UFO Seekers and Leslie Mitchell Clark's Contact TV. Tonight, I have a treat for all you guys and gals out there. Tonight, we are getting to know, and we will be speaking with rock and roll psychic Mari Beckman. Hey, Mari, thanks for joining us.
It's my pleasure to be here. Thanks so much for having me.
So glad you can make it. How are you doing today?
I'm hot. Us Pacific Northwest people, we don't like this 85 stuff.
Yeah.
You know, it's beautiful here in Tacoma, Washington tonight. Lots of stars. It's just got a few little clouds in the sky, and hoping for some of my space buddies to come by and wink at me. So I'm doing good.
That would be awesome. All right, let's see. So, Mari, how long have you known that you've had a psychic medium gift?
Well, the psychic part, I always knew things. I think if you speak to anybody that's empathic or that does the work that I do, I think we all say that we recognized something early on. I didn't know it was a gift, but I embrace it as a gift, certainly. And I knew things. I remember picking up all kinds of stuff. I could always know how people were feeling and what was going to happen, and people told me. I mean, when I talked to folks that knew me way back when, they all said I had something about me that made them think I might have some type of gift. And it wasn't until really in my early 30s that I became completely open and started seeing souls on the other side and having just, really profound experiences. And that was, about 17 years ago when I took Reiki. And so I learned Reiki and, just completely opened up. And then I learned to do quantum touch, which is another type of healing, hands-on healing. Well, actually, that's a little bit more mind too. And I just began to try to help as many people as I could. The reason I started out was because I wanted to learn how to help my mom. She was really ill. She developed hepatitis C. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to be able to do something for her. That's just a devastating illness, and she passed away from it. And so I learned that I really loved healing, and it brought me a lot of pleasure. And I loved being able to work on myself. So I guess that's how it started. And early on, I began to see the Ascended Masters. So the Holy Mother Mary, Jesus once in a while, Saint Germain, other Ascended Masters in the very beginning. And the Holy Mother told me, please to not put myself out to learn at that point, that they wanted me to take their direction. And I remember when I was touched by the Holy Mother the first time, it was like drinking like 10 coffees all at once for about 3 days. And she told me that there was going to be an earthquake, and this was in the summer. So she told me it was going to be on a certain day in January, and that I was to get a group of people together to pray about this, that the earthquake would lessen. And she told me where it was and all about it. And that did come to pass on that day. And so I really believe my guides, they've never steered me wrong. And so as it's developed and my energy has gone up, many more guides have stepped in. And I wanted to be sure just a moment ago that I had everybody's name for my guides, because I always, when I open up, I always speak everybody's name and ask them humbly to come into the circle. And I counted them up, and there's 30, but I know that there's many, many more, because when I call in unnamed angels and archangels and those type of angelic beings, I lump them in, but just count them as one energy. So I'm very happy to have many, many more guides stepping in, especially just recently the Galactics have come in.
Yeah, and that's amazing because when we first started talking, you had 27, and then today we were talking and you had 28, and you're already up to 30, so it seems like they're stepping in quite quickly. And I didn't read your bio because I was waiting for a few people to get in here, but let me read that now. So okay. Everybody knows who you are and what your somewhat past experience and some of your guides are.
Okay.
So Mari Beckman is a psychic, medium, channeler, and healer from Tacoma, Washington. Working as a professional for 17 years, Mari specializes in removing attachments from current and past lives and connecting with our galactic brothers. Mari has also worked with 27 guides and now 30, including Nikola Tesla, Cheif, is it Sealth?
Cheif Sealth or Cheif Seattle.
Okay. Cheif Sealth and Saint Germain. Mari also has a special interest in trance channeling and pain control. And that's very awesome.
So it's a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
So it was my mistake, actually. A couple days ago, a different galactic guide came in. So he would have made 28. Well, then when I counted everybody up tonight, it was 30. So it's just that was just my miscount. So as the light continues to come in, and especially in the last couple days, all kinds of changes are happening. I mean, we know that, right? And energy is going up, our vibration is raising like crazy. I'll have more to speak about that, but that's the story on the guides, and I just love each one of them so much. They've never steered me wrong.
So, what is or was your religious or spiritual upbringing, and did that have anything to do or any kind of perspective on your gift?
Well, every once in a while we would go to services, go to church, but we weren't a religious family. My mom really believed, though, and she used to read the Bible to me when I was a little kid, so I knew the names of folks. And pretty much, I see everybody from, I see all the master guides and all the, I just, call them the biggies, right? I'm lucky enough to have been able to see many, many folks over the years, from goddesses to master beings and guides, all kinds of different individuals that step in for people, because as you know, I have those that come with me, but everybody I'm reading have those that come with them, right? That's kind of how it works. And so I've been really lucky to see lots of different folks. So I never really had much of a religious background. I more say that I'm spiritual, but I sure do love all of those folks. I mean, they are powerful beings for good, and they wouldn't have been around for so long with everybody speaking to them and praying to them and sending energy. It's back and forth. Well, what I guess I should say is that those on the other side that are our guides cannot do their job without us, and we cannot do ours without them. So it needs to be, in my opinion, humble opinion, a synergistic relationship where we are doing what they ask of us, if it works out, as far as we wouldn't want to go beyond what we feel comfortable with. But as our vibration rises, we understand that never will they put us in a position where we go against, our own, what I want to say, free will. So let's see, where am I at here? So I'm just lucky enough to have all of those folks in my life, and I really appreciate them. So I guess really I'm not religious, I'm more spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
Although I do love to go to church. Oh my goodness, I love the pageantry and the beauty and the feeling. And I've been to all kinds of different houses of worship, and I appreciate that. I'm just not, huge on dogma myself. But
yeah, I agree with having the fellowship and people around you is great. I have had some hang-ups with organized religion, and it's just, the will of man tends to mess things up, from different religious sects to even the Bible. And I recently heard that the Pope was going to retranslate the Bible, which I'm actually really excited about. But I do find religion to be important, and even the Dalai Lama said, don't put down any religion, because there's a different medicine out there for everyone, and so it's helpful, so you shouldn't put that down.
Yes, isn't he just the best?
Yeah, and I love his smile, and his laughter just makes me giggle so hard. He's just the cutest little old guy in the world.
He absolutely is. I have a nice picture of him in my kitchen, and I always look at how beautiful his face is and the light around him. And he is so right. That's why when these different guides step in and give the message, always something, that I don't know. I like to, I'm really skeptical. I'm an Aquarius. I'm the most skeptical person ever. So the understanding that they give me has to make sense to both me and to the sitter. And so I like lots of corroboration. I like lots of hits, and if I don't get a hit, it means I've gone down the wrong road. It's operator error. It's not the guide, it's always me. So I just try to keep my heart open and listen.
Well, Shar in the chat room was asking, because she had heard a few names of some of your guides, and she was saying, so is Mary saying that Mother Mary is an ascended master and Jesus too?
I have to tell you, before I say anything about anything going further, When the Holy Mother asked me not to learn, I am not a person who looks on a lot of information on Facebook. I read very sparingly on the subjects, and I listen to my guides. And so I may have words that are different, especially when it comes into my healing. So a little bit later, you'll hear my process. If you go to another healer and say, this is her process, I want you to know that every healer is different. So when I say certain things, it makes sense to me between me and my guides. And there are many, many, many ascended masters. And I kind of believe that, yeah, probably those two are. I feel as though they are. Everybody's going to have a different opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So when Master Jesus comes in, he feels a certain way. When the Holy Mother comes in, she feels a certain way. I just had a healing today from an awesome channel, Greg Baroni, and he brought in Master Adama, Lord Adama. And everybody feels different. They just do. And it's nothing but love. And so I try not to like pigeonhole anybody. I just know that over my years, I have met folks that have wanted to come in that don't feel right to me, and I respectfully decline. So I'm not much of a person who says this is the way, because I know that I'm nothing special. I'm just a healer out there in the world. But my guides are really special, and they can really help people. And so I just step back, listen, and just send out the love.
Yeah, I think it's really amazing and awesome, the work you do, healing and helping others. Like, that's a big key point for me as a paranormal investigator. I came out of the paranormal closet in 2012 to try to help a mother who had lost her child, and since then we've just been on a roll with Four Corners Paranormal Investigations, and my goal is to help not only people in this realm living, but also people on the other side who are stuck perhaps or need help. And that's what drives me. Like, I don't make any money at all doing what I do. I actually go in debt doing it, but I love it.
Are you saying Archangel Michael?
I actually pray to the Archangel before I do investigations. And he's one of my key helpers in protecting myself from dark entities. But just helping people on this side and the next. Dylan Redwine was the reason that I came out of the paranormal closet. But, yeah, helping people is important and key to me, and that's why I do what I do.
Yes, exactly. And so Archangel Michael is the archangel I ask for assistance when helping souls that are not quite crossed over. So I also do space clearing and helping folks that are caught sort of in the in-between.
Mm-hmm.
Archangel Michael is somebody that his energy and his feeling is just so beautiful. So he is one that I call on every day.
Yeah, and he is very powerful and he's very good at what he does. So, how long exactly have you been practicing healing?
Well, it's been I have had different numbers floating around because I'm not very good at numbers, and life spins pretty fast. And luckily the other day, my Reiki master posted that it was her anniversary, and I know that I met her 1 year prior to that, so it's been 17 years. That's the only way I knew it was 17 years. I thought it was 12 the other day because time's moving on. So yeah, it's been a lot of change, certainly. And I know that everybody's been feeling this incredible uptick, in the, I don't know what you want to call it. Everybody's got a name for it. Diamond light, scalar energy, all the light that's coming into the planet. And so, my healing and my abilities have changed. So, but pretty much 17 years. And prior to that, I was a florist and wasn't able to continue my career, and now I'm doing something else. So, and I'm also a writer and have co-written some books and hoping to write another one of these days.
Awesome. Yeah, and I do agree with you on that there is some sort of an awakening, so to speak, in the world. Like, more people are open to things, more open-minded to the other side and their gifts, and, you know, following their gut instinct. Some people think it's primal instinct, but I can honestly say my gut has never led me astray, and I'm very grateful for being able to listen to that still small voice when it speaks to me, because it saved my butt so many times.
Exactly. I agree. I agree. Absolutely.
So, are you a certified healer?
I'm a Reiki master, and I did some quantum touch classes. I forget how, because that was in the beginning. I can't remember how many. I think I did at least 2 of those. They're like a series kind of thing, and you learn how to do that particular type of healing in a classroom situation. And but now what I do is I don't touch the sitter's body, and I simply do it through the mind, and I'm just the observer. So the sitter can feel the changes going on, and it's very quick. So something that took an hour years ago now takes moments. So I'm just watching. I just watch the movie, and I say, okay, can you feel this? We're going to do this. Can you feel that slide into place? Can you feel this and that? So that's how it works these days, and I really appreciate that, because the energy right now, as I'm saying, is so high that who knows what it's going to be like even a year from now, especially after this summer solstice next week. So what it looks like to me right now is it looks like the earth is cracking open, and the golden and pink sparkliness is coming down into the earth. So St. Germain and Mr. Tesla had been asking me for about a year to send light, different kinds of light, different colors of light, different places on the planet. And I've been doing that, and lots of people have been doing that, because I keep putting it out all over the place, and everybody else sends it out too, since my lovely friends do that. And we've all been holding this energy, and instead of what was just a few months ago to be happening, now it seems as though Earth is just opening up.
Yeah, it's awesome how it does that. So how does one know if they have the potential to be a healer?
Well, you know, when people come to me, I sometimes get an understanding that they are from their vibration. And so the easiest way for me to prove to them that that is possible is that I ask them to put their hand out flat. And my first skill was always seeing, and then my first divination tool was my pendulum. So I still use my pendulum, and I use my pendulum so people can see their energy changing, because my pendulum will bounce all over the place depending on what guide is coming through. When my guide Ra comes through, makes a little heart. When it's a lesson to them, it'll make an atomic symbol, yes, no, percentage, all kinds of different things. And so when a person before me has healing energy or healer ability energy, my pendulum will make a 6-inch circle over their palm. And it just means that, so usually I'll just say, so do people tell you that your energy feels nice when you touch them, or when you hug them, or are people drawn to you in some way? And 9 out of 10 times they already know that. And then I just encourage them to take Reiki. I believe everybody in the whole world needs to take Reiki, to learn the class, to go through all the way to master. And it was so transformative to me. And then you always have that ability. I mean, if you see an accident on the road, you can help. If you need to help yourself, if you need to clear your loved one, I mean, I just think everybody ought to do it.
What is the difference between a faith healer and a spiritual healer?
A faith healer, huh? I'm not sure. I think that could possibly just be semantics or description. A spiritual healer, I'm just thinking about my friends, and there are many that do great work around here in Seattle, Tacoma area. And they are very spiritual. Some are very religious and spiritual all at the same time. And as far as a faith healer goes, you know, when I hear that word, sometimes my brain goes to certain individuals that will remain nameless that look as though um, maybe their guides might be a little different than some of the ascended masters, maybe. I know nobody like that at all. Everybody that I know is a great healer and has great ethics, but there's a few that I've seen maybe on TV when I used to watch TV,
Mm-hmm.
and I definitely don't do that anymore. And I think it's just because what I witnessed was the lack of respect for a person. Because when you have somebody that gives you the great gift to come in and ask for healing, and that you feel as though you can hold the energy that the guides are going to send, one is expected to have the highest ethics and just send the love out, which doesn't mean that healers get depleted. It just means we're using that incredibly high energy. We're going right to the top, and that we are just very respectful and loving. And so maybe people have a different idea of that, but that's a connotation that comes up to me. Probably there's no difference, but if somebody's out there listening to me and wants to go to a healer, go to psychic fairs in your area, that's the best way. Find a metaphysical store or a bookstore. Go online, ask your friends if anyone knows a healer. Reiki energy is perfect every time. It will never harm you. It will only heal. And that's a great way to start. And there's so many different types of healing modalities out there. There's, the name I was just trying to think. Healing touch is one. Again, quantum touch is really great. So if you can find healers that do any of those kinds of things, by all means, give it a try.
Do you know how does prayer relate to spiritual healing?
Well, what's interesting is through my dear friend, I learned about a woman in the UK named Lynn McTaggart who wrote a book called The Power of Eight. And I have not read this book. All I know is that she formed a group of power of eight people, infinity, right? Power of eight. And she has had miracles happen. And so I wanted to do that in a lovely group that I take part in on Tuesday night. And I just kind of said it out loud, and the 7 other people that were around me, everybody said, yes, I'll be in. It was the lovely type of people that belonged to that group. And so we had 2 individuals that we prayed for, and both of them reported feeling better. And so I know that focused prayer works. And so when I get up in the morning, and about 1 million times a day, I'm constantly praying and sending out love to those that will accept. Always asking if I'm sending out healing towards somebody, but a nice little prayer for folks can't hurt. And so I believe in focused prayer greatly. So you might think I'm a religious person because many of my guides are ascended masters and folks from different belief systems. But those folks have been around for many, 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 many years and have been prayed to and have sent out energy onto this world and other worlds. And I know that it works. I pray all the time. I think it's a great way to rest my brain, and I'm lucky enough to hear from them back.
Do you find that after you do healing that you need to ground or cleanse yourself or revitalize yourself in any way?
What I do is a long time ago, my very special friend Missy Milne helped me by telling me to call in angels to stand back to back around me. And they stand, there's quite a few of them standing around me very close in. And so I'm very protected in that way. And I open up every day by saying my guides' names from the very beginning. And I make sure that I'm completely grounded. And when I give the Tesla symbols a little later, the healing Tesla symbols, I'll tell you how to effortlessly ground in 10 seconds. And so I make sure that I'm completely ready to go if I'm looking at anybody. And then after, I remember to clear myself unless I forget, but I try very hard because that's part of the process. That's something that you have to just always remind yourself to do. Go out and stand outside in the grass, or do the Tesla symbols, or just go through and make sure nothing is attached. And if something has, just take it off. So yes, every time.
Do you think faith and belief matter when it comes to spiritual healing?
Gosh, I don't think so, because there's been a few times over the years, way more in the beginning when I started doing this, but in less so now, where people would just plain old not believe. And I love that kind of thing. I love people to be skeptical. I love it that I need to find out which guide is going to make them feel. I love it when they just can't believe the information that has come through. That just makes me so happy, because these guides mean everything to me. And if I can say the correct words that the guides have given me, because this is not me. This is, like I said, I'm just a little speck on the horizon, right? I'm just the tube. This is the guides speaking. And they will go out of their way to get my small little sort of human brain to try to understand the symbols so that I can say the correct word or provide the feeling so my sitter can understand. And I really don't believe belief has anything to do with it, because there's going to be something that's going to spark somebody. And even if somebody leaves and doesn't feel different, there still has been a healing somewhere on some level.
JT in the chat room was asking, are any of your guides extraterrestrials?
Yes, absolutely. I can tell. I don't know if it's appropriate to tell the story now. Would you like me to tell the story of how I met them?
Certainly.
Okay, so I'll do my best to say this as clearly as I can. So what happened was, about a year and a half ago, I was sitting down doing a meditation, and I could understand that there was a triangle over the top of my head. I could feel it, I could sense it, I could see it. And a guide came in that I did not recognize. And whenever that happens, I go to the Holy Mother or Saint Germain or Archangel Michael, and I say, is this guide part of what would be appropriate for my energy to allow in? And they said yes. And so I understood that I needed to bring that triangle symbol into my crown. And I did. And it was the most incredible feeling in the world. And ever since then, I have been helping people to learn how to do that. So for about a year, I had to do it for people. It takes about 10 seconds. And you feel it. You feel an expansion in your head. And what it does is it helps people to be able to just really live through these ascension feelings that are coming up for folks. You know, people aren't sleeping. They don't want to eat. They're eating weird food. You know, all kinds of different things. You know, you see all, numbers, 111, and music and all kinds of different synchronicities, right? So this is the opening. Everybody knows that, right? It's happening. And so this symbol helps people feel better. So these days, life has moved on, right? The energy's higher on the earth. People are opening up. And now people can do it on their own. And I'd love to teach people how to do that later on after I tell my story, when it gets to be the time where we're working on people. And to me, it's really great to know that, because that really does help people. And then people need to add that symbol either every 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks, depending. It's usually 4 for most people. Sometimes people are, their energy's way high, and you can do it in 3 weeks. Sometimes people need to do it, like healer people need to do it more often. So what happened was I met these lovely folks called Alora and the Family. And Alora and the Family are galactic individuals that came in to assist in healing. And I just was completely transformed in the way I did healing. And at that point could get into issues in the body to remove all kinds of different things. It might be pain, it might be, might have a disc, slightly, very slightly out. It might be somebody's hips are higher than the other. It might be whatever, right? And these guides just made the ability quicker, faster, easier, better all across the way. So that was, like I said, about 1.5 years ago. Then I had the chance to become part of a radio show called Jupiter Rising with Eileen Grimes, and that's on KKNW here in it's in Bellevue, Washington. It's 1150 radio, and she's a friend of mine, the best astrologer I know, and I was able to be a co-host with her for about maybe 4 months, maybe. And I learned about another radio show called I believe it's Out of This World. And the gentleman's name is Ted Marr. He's just a lovely person. And I sent in my info, and I said I'd like to teach people the Tesla symbols. And that very night, I met him. I felt like I conjured him out of thin air. There he was at the same event as me, and I was able to work on him. And he was so kind that he invited me to come and be on his show, which was going to be live at the Galactic Wisdom Conference in Olympia, Washington. And so I was able to do that, and I got to get up and talk about the symbols and meet these really awesome people and just be kind of around. And I love the energy so much. I asked him if I could come back on Sunday. This was a Friday that we were on the air, and then I was just on a panel. I was part of a panel with these pretty cool people. And then I came back on that Sunday, and I was just a vendor. I was just there to help people. And what they did was they had speakers from all over the world. It was really awesome to listen. And then a few minutes out of the hour, the lights would come up and people would come around. They'd get a reading or buy something or whatever. And so the very first, I don't know if it was the first person, but it was a channel her name was, her name just went right out of my mind. I'll probably be able to remember. Judy Cali, Cali. She's on Facebook. She's a great channel, just effortless. And she brought through all kinds of folks. And Mr. Tesla was one, and I was so relieved because Mr. Tesla sounded just like my Mr. Tesla. And then I believe the other person might have been George Washington, whom I've channeled before, sounded just like George Washington. But one of the individuals Judy Cali brought through was an Arcturian. And as I'm sitting there in the dim room, I'm watching these beings walk up to me. And they walked up to the table, one particular being, very, very tall, very beautiful eyes, long fingers, and really just so graceful. And this individual said, "We wish to contact with you." And so I went, well, holy moly. And I said to my guides, am I supposed to do that? And they said, yes, don't fear. So myself and the individual went out into the lobby where there was absolutely nobody, which was the only time during the day there was nobody when I went out in the lobby. And this individual said, we wish to take you. It's essentially a message, is what she said. And I asked again, is this okay? My guides assured me yes. And I was sitting, out in the lobby, and I felt my body flip over as though my feet came over the top of my head. And I was instantly in a craft with this individual.
Wow.
And I could see the black night and the stars, and I was instantly down inside Mount Rainier. And I was instantly before a group of people, that I then later learned was the Galactic Federation of Light. And I could see about 12 people on either side with one composite being in the middle that I couldn't quite see who was who, but everybody looked a little different. And I was getting a lot of, I don't know, impressions mainly because I was absolutely gobsmacked and about to pass out, I felt like. But I just gave thanks. I said, thank you, thank you, thank you for bringing me, because I'm that kid that stood outside and looked up at the stars and said, please take me, because I never felt like I fit in. I always felt different.
Mm-hmm.
And my energy is galactic, which I didn't know, of course, but I am. I mean, I'm the kind of person that wears Moldavite all day and feels like it's Valium, for goodness sakes. It makes me feel good. Whereas people who are very earthy, they touch that and they, laugh and feel funny and feel high. I just feel very grounded when I wear it. So at any rate, I met these folks and they told me that they would come back and take me in body and that they liked the healing I did and said, many specific things. Maybe after the break I'll tell you, because it was beautiful the way they said it. And I said that I would come back. So mainly I just gave thanks and respect to them. And they said that I would know the composite being in front of me named Ra, R-A, and that this individual that brought me, my cosmic driver basically, would assist me. And then it was a round of thanks, and then I was back in the chair, and then somehow got back into the room. And for the rest of the day, that guide was with me, and I talked to her the whole day. And the most extraordinary thing was a friend of mine, Susan Makalele, is a spirit artist. And so prior to the lights going down, she and I said, oh, hey, we'll trade, because we thought, okay, we didn't know if we were going to be chatting with very many people, and we thought, oh, we'll trade, right? So when I came back in, I just sat there just absolutely mind blown, just chatting with my new friend. And she walked up to me and said, here you go. And the individual that took me into the craft is the individual she drew.
Like she drew on paper? Like she had drawn this figure?
Yes.
Wow.
And this individual's name is Nione, Nione. And she's just absolutely beautiful. She has the most beautiful golden eyes, and she's clearly Arcturian. That's what she looks like, and that's who she is. And that's where my lineage comes from. And then what they said to me when they spoke to me was, we will come back and take you in body. So when I came home, of course, I was just vibrating at a pretty high rate. And then she's been with me ever since. And she's just just an absolute beautiful love. And she has such just a way about her that she's always really happy. She's like she drank a ton of coffee. She's like really woo kind of a person, And when we got in my car that night, I said, Nione, do you like music? And she said, music, beautiful soul. I love music. So that is her way of being. So she's been with me ever since, and now she's one of my primary guides that I do healing with, along with Mr. Tesla and Saint Germain, who holds my energy. Saint Germain holds my energy. So where are we at now? Oh, and so what I did was, me being the skeptical person I am, I began to ask people what they thought about that, and eventually landed on a friend of mine who's a shaman. And I said, do I do that? Because they're telling me they want to take me back. What does that mean? What does that mean? And why am I doing that? Why are they doing that? Why is it there? How do I not know about this? Well, I don't know about this because I just don't know about this, right? So my friend said, how did you feel when you were there? And I said, I felt like infinite peace and love. And she says, there's your answer. So you go back to the person you trust the most, the Holy Mother and Archangel Michael. And I said to those holy ones, I said, what do I do? They said, we are with you every moment. You're completely protected. This is your path. And so I've been visiting with them ever since. And many, many galactics have stepped in. And so I now do healing with them, and probably always have, for what I've understood. So I asked my guide Nione where she was before she was with me. And she said, beloved soul, I've always been with you. So that tells me that my vibration now is high enough to see her.
Trip was asking, did you see the drawing before abduction?
It's not abduction if you ask them to take you.
Yeah. Before your free ride? Yeah.
That's right. I did not. Oh, I did not. The word Arcturian was in my consciousness because Judy Callie had just channeled Arcturians, and that individual walked up to me. So by this point, my friend and I had already agreed we would trade. So her trade takes a million years longer than me because she has to draw these beautiful portraits, right? So I'm just sitting there minding my business, watching or listening to the channeling. And no, she was channeling what she felt in my vibe. That was not something I had seen prior to that. If you would have asked me what an Arcturian looked like, I couldn't tell you from a Norwegian person of that lineage. I wouldn't be able to tell you, So there you go.
Craig was wondering, what's the most important thing you've learned from these masters?
Wow, there's so many things. The most important, I think, to be incredibly open and meet the sitter where they are. Not to give them the message that has absolutely anything to do with me. To only give the message from their guides and mine. So the only time I give the message is if their body shows me something very specific. Because prior to that, there's attachments and energy work to do. So the energy work happens first. Then the psychic and mediumship portion of the reading happens after that. So basically, it's just be the observer, lead in love and respect, and just be open, I guess. Because what's happening now, since the vibration is higher, I'm beginning to see people who are on the other side that have been famous or infamous. And when one of those folks comes through, they have a message that the sitter will recognize. So me being the skeptic, if somebody comes through like, gosh, there's been so many recently, but somebody who has just passed away recently, there's been people in the news that I've seen, and maybe I won't know they've passed, or maybe I do, but I will look up from my chair and I'll see them across the room, and they'll give me the message, and I'll either put it out or I'll use it for myself. Recently that happened. There was a message. It was Professor Hawking who gave me a message, and that was my message he gave me on the same night he passed. And I was sitting there reading my cell phone, and my dear friend Lynn Campbell Olson, who is an awesome medium and does paranormal stuff. She has a really great blog under Lynn's Parapeeps on Facebook. And she just said, okay, I just saw Professor Hawking. I read her thing, or did I see it? I can't remember if I read her thing or I saw him first. I can't remember. Or maybe I just saw that he was deceased. I can't remember. But her channeling was way different than mine, but it was simply the same. It was the same soul giving the message. And my message was personal. I thought it was one thing, but in a couple days, oh no, it was completely different. And it was information I did not have. So pretty cool how they come through.
Very cool. We have about 6 minutes here before break, and Yvonne had a question. She asked, can Mari explain removing attachments from past lives?
Sure. When I am checking out symbols in the aura or on the body or wherever they are, the guides will show me the sitter and people around them as current life and past life. And this comes up only if it's meant to be, because I don't go out looking for past life, because that's not really my focus, although certainly it pops up when it needs to. So when past life understanding pops up, it's got something to do with why you are the way you are right now. So who your family is this time, illnesses, inner child, all that kind of stuff can be past life. And so when I see the symbols, which is basically, well, I'll tell you what the symbols are, is that I see the sitter in front of me. I'll see the folks in the family or whatever is causing the issue in front of me. And over to the left side, I can see people change positions. So if the sitter is talking about her dad, I will notice that over to my left side, I'll see dad as dad and her as child, and then vice versa. Her as mom, dad as son. It'll be something like that. It'll be something similar to that. And then I will see the attachment. So the attachment's either going to be on the body in symbol, or it's going to be looped around in like a blue cord. It'll be a cord. It'll be something. It might be. It's everybody's different. It's not the same. So some symbols are the same for people, but sometimes I'll see a symbol that I will say to my guide, I have absolutely no idea what that is, and they'll tell me something that I can understand. Does that make sense?
Yes. And I agree. Everybody's different, but sometimes we do have the same, things going on, and sometimes it's different. You can never tell until you look into it.
And then to wrap that up, what you do is you, there's so many things. You either remove it with a crystal. The guide will say, "I will do it," or me, the human Mary will do it. It's different for everybody again, but you can just pull it off. So, and then what do people feel? They feel light. They can feel the energy being gone. It's transformative. It looks like a hand on the body sometimes, like a red hand on the body.
And do you sometimes see a hole in the aura, or is that hole in the aura just a sign to us, who aren't used to seeing signs? Like, would that be what the hole in the aura is, possibly?
So the aura shows me a lot of different things. You can see color. You can see that the body is outside of the aura. If there's been a gigantic trauma, there can be a rent or a hole, or maybe it's up out your feet or down below it, like Fred Flintstone in his car. Remember Fred Flintstone, how his feet were below his car? That's how he made his car move.
Uh-huh.
That's one of my symbols, where it means you've had either a traumatic thing, or you've had a series of traumatic somethings, or a shock. Like people who get in a car accident, every once in a while I'll see something like that. So yeah, the aura shows me all kinds of different things. And Mr. Tesla, he's the expert in aura recovery. And so I will just say, Holy One, can we see the aura? And then the aura comes up, and then I will say, Holy One, will you adjust? And then he goes in and adjusts. And then I can see it change.
So, what to you is the source of healing? What do you draw from?
Personally, you mean?
Yes.
These days, it's kind of a combo, I guess. So this really intense plasma light, or whatever you want to call it, that's coming in right now, that is Earth, angelic, galactic. It's all kinds of stuff. They are trying to assist us in rising up. And we are going to rise up, or we are going to have troubles. And so what I mean by that is, I don't know if you know people in your life who just constantly, it's this thing, and then it's that thing, and then it's this thing, and then it's that thing. Those folks are resisting this ascension. So if anybody is having problem after problem, please try to get to the bottom of that and allow this light to transform you, because it's here to adjust our vibration. So for quite some time now, I've been what I just call, I'm going to sit in the light. I'm going to lie in the light, or I'm going to lie in the vibration. So I will go lay down every day, because I have to do that. I have to have rest during the day. And I go in and lie down in the bed, and I say, Holy Ones, may I feel the vibration, and then it'll pass through my body. Well, now in the last couple days, because of course we're leading up here to the solstice, that vibe has been really big. Ooh, everybody's been feeling it. I mean, there was just a shooting here near us in Tumwater tonight. If you turn on the news, there's everybody caterwauling at each other. If you look on Facebook, everybody's jumping all over each other and all kinds of stuff going on. And it's just the light. And people were either going to ascend or not. So I draw from the light. I draw from my guides. I ask my beautiful friends around me. I just had a beautiful healing from 2 folks tonight because I felt like I was having maybe like a little migraine-y situation going on, maybe. But it turned out to be some other stuff. And so they just effortlessly got in there and cleared that out. So I draw from my friends all the time. I have lovely people around me that help me, Missy, Lobo del Sol, Greg, Kelly, everybody that I really love and trust. And so, and then always just prayer to the holy ones. I just, I call them the holy ones. I don't know what else to say. We're all holy ones, but they are the original holy ones. So I just say, holy ones, will you help me? And they always do.
Okay, well, go ahead and hold that thought, and we're going to go to our first commercial break. You guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Heading to Vancouver and looking for some great nightlife? The Moose Vancouver is the place to be. Catch a game on one of the big screens or just come rock out to your favorite 80s and 90s hair bands. Great food starting at $6.95. The Moose Vancouver is open until 2 a.m. nightly. It's easy to find near the corner of Nelson and Granville. The Moose Vancouver is the official rocking bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Find your escape where time has no limits. It's about living today and cherishing the heritage of yesterday. A spirit of adventure for what is new with the nostalgia of the past. Your timepiece is a reflection of who you are. Life surrounded by beauty from the world around us to the soul within. EscapeWatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
Coming September 28th to the 30th, it's our first annual Caribou Paracon, put on by Spaced Out Radio and the Canadian Society of Questers. 3 days of paranormal, supernatural, and spiritual knowledge in the beautiful 108 Mile Ranch, British Columbia. Tickets are $150 Canadian for the event, being held at the Spruce Hills Resort and Spa. Come watch our featured speaker, Grant Cameron, along with Lorian Fenton, David Weatherly, Ross Allison, and more. The Caribou Paracon, celebrating everything paranormal.
Are you tired of being blocked, shadow banned, or placed in jail for simply posting your thoughts on social media? Social Media Freedom can take care of that for you. Social Media Freedom is the newest and one of the best free new apps that allows you the freedom to post what you want when you want. It takes seconds to download from your app store. Come join the tribe at Social Media Freedom. It's time to set yourself free.
Hey Space Travelers, it's Joe Roop, your host of Spaced Out Saturdays. Come join me as we explore the realms of the paranormal, the esoteric, and everything in between every Saturday night at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern. You know the truth is out there. Don't get caught sleepwalking. Come join Spaced Out Saturdays. That's every Saturday night, 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, right here on SpacedOutRadio.com.
365 days a year, we're in the field, investigating UFO sightings, talking to alien abductees, and visiting secret military locations like Area 51. We're UFO Seekers, official partner of Spaced Out Radio. Follow our daily search for the truth at UFOseekers.com or like us on social media. Catch us on Spaced Out Radio every third Monday of the month as we discuss Area 51, UFOs, and more. And also don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
It's paranormal news at its finest. Welcome to The Encounter. At spaceoutradio.com, The Encounter online is SOR's trusted news source for everything weird and strange going on around the world. This is news editor Eric Markham. Our team of journalists are scouring the planet for those strange stories that rarely make the mainstream. No fear-mongering or fake news here. Head over to spaceoutradio.com and encounter The Encounter.
Want to learn more about aliens, cover-ups, conspiracies, cryptids, and the paranormal? All you have to do is tune in S4 as we take over the Spaced Out Radio night, starting at midnight Pacific, 3 a.m. Eastern, each and every Saturday night, right after Spaced Out Saturdays. Hi there, this is Eric Cooper from Forest Moon Paranormal. Join me, Corey Ruiz, and friends as we discuss the hot topics of the night. It's fun, entertaining, and as dark as the night. Find us at spacedoutradio.com.
Are you an experiencer? Have you had run-ins with strange creatures you can't explain? ETs, Dogman, Bigfoot, werewolves? They're enough to scare the daylights out of anyone. Hi there, I'm Butch Witkowski from your 4-Cop. And on the last Monday of every month, you can listen to me and the host, Dave Scott, talk about the weird and the strange being reported on Spaced Out Radio. I'm going to bring my investigations and sources, you bring your experiences, and we'll figure out the rest together. Strange Days on Spaced Out Radio. Come tune us in at spacedoutradio.com.
Are you interested in advertising on Spaced Out Radio? Head to our website at spacedoutradio.com and click on our advertising tab. There, you will find an assortment of ways you can get your product out there with us, from radio commercials to banners and social media. Have a product you like our hosts to endorse? We can do that too. Visit spacedoutradio.com for more details.
Looking for nighttime adventure? Old school radio that delves into everything out of the norm? Then check us out at Spaced Out Radio. This is Dave Scott. Every Monday through Friday, starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, we're going to take you on a wild ride ranging from conspiracies to true crime and every ghost, alien, and Sasquatch story in between. We're always live, and we're always interactive with you. So join us at spacedoutradio.com, where together, we own the night.
Tonight's show and topic of discussion do not necessarily reflect the opinion of Spaced Out Radio, SOR Media, or its hosts. Listener discretion is advised. It's hour number 3 of Spaced Out Sunday with host Tessa Nicole Thomas. Follow Tessa on Twitter at TessaTNT. Our website is spacedoutradio.com. Now back to the Rocky Mountains. Here's Tessa.
Welcome back, Spaced Out Radio. This is your host, Tess, and tonight we have Mari on board. Mari, welcome back, and thank you so much for joining us.
Sure, I'm happy to be here.
Okay, so before I had asked you what is the source of healing, and do you feel like you answered that fully?
Well, I think so. And, I was wondering if I could name my guides, because every day when I get up, I ask them to come in. And as I explained before, there's certain guides that are always with me. And different guides took their place as my main guide at different times in my life. So one of my first guides was Clara Barton, who started the Red Cross. And then I know that she still is with me. She's one that I name often. Every once in a while, she will show up. And I love Clara so much. And then, but I'd like to just give you the list. I think people might be interested. And I kind of explain if that's okay. So I always just say Holy God, Jesus Christ, Mother Mary, Archangel Michael, Saint Germain, Angel Metatron, Archangel Moroni, all angels, guides, beings, master guides, all unnamed angels. And the reason I say that is many angels are just called angel. And if you call them in, they can help. Clara Barton, Alora and the family, Kisa, Patrick, Anne, the Blue Being, the Grandfather, the Guru, Gilgamesh, Mr. Tesla, Martin Luther King, Marie Laveau, Akbar, Red Cloud, Nyon, Ulu, Ra, Stewart and the others, Rue, and then I just say thank you, and I just welcome them in the name of Jesus Christ Most Holy. And I do that, in the morning, and then periodically during the day. It calms me down, it centers me, and I just want to make sure before I help people that I ground and then just adjust my aura. So I'd love to tell you about the Tesla symbols, if that's important to hear tonight. I think it is.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. Please share.
So I have a friend named Todd Humphrey. He's a really great healer. And I was having some work done from him one night. And I saw Mr. Tesla, who is a guide for him. And after that, I realized that Mr. Tesla was around me and stepped in as guide for me. And he calls me my love. So we had a life together before he was Mr. Tesla that I was able to see when I was doing trance channeling recently. And so he and I have worked on lots of folks together, and he talked about these symbols that he would like to tell everybody about. And there's quite a few of them. And so when you drop in the upgrade, which I will do, hopefully, if someone calls in, I will teach you guys how to do the upgrade. There's also a way to sort of help your nervous system and kind of block out some of these energies that are coming in that are not as positive, such as EMF and different things. And the first thing you can do is just visualize a blue rectangle all around the body. So just close into the body. And then visualize also blue triangles. So just think about having a triangle as big as your body in your hand, and you just want to pass it over your body. And you get down to your feet, you just step out of it, right? You put it all over anything that's bothering you. So those blue triangles are awesome. The other thing you can do is you can block EMFs really effectively, like cell phone or computer, by drawing over the top of your cell phone, for example, something that looks very much like a tic-tac-toe or a hashtag, but yet one more vertical and horizontal line. So it's just 1, 2, 3 down and 1, 2, 3 across. And then you want to turn it neon blue, kind of a middle blue, mid blue. And you just do that in your vision, or do that, draw with your finger and then visualize the color, and that will absolutely block it. And so at this point, I wear a lot of different things on my body that block and encourage my energy in a certain direction. And so these, the jewelry that I wear, and then the Living Light Alchemy discs that my friend Todd Rolson makes, you can find him through my list of friends. I wear those on my body all the time with Moldavite and Tektite also, just for grounding. And so that preserves the energy. But the Tesla symbols are really important because that extra little hashtag thing that looks like a tic-tac-toe with one more vertical and horizontal, that will actually block people bugging you. So if you're in a place like a restaurant or something and somebody's giving you trouble, you can just do that in your mind and that person will suddenly just go away. It's a blocker. It's a big blocker.
Have you heard of the Tesla's purple plates?
What is that?
It's something our friend Corinne DeWinter, she sells those. And supposedly it's from Tesla, and it's a purple plate, and it's supposed to enhance your spiritual or psychic abilities and, help with positive energy and so on and so forth. I was just wondering, had you heard of those? Because the first time I heard of it was on this show with Corinne DeWinter. And it just seemed very interesting to me. It may be something you'd like to check out.
Sure, I'd love to. I would love to. I'll write the name down and I'll take a look. With me, his light is always blue. And so that blue energy is often around him. When we talk, sometimes he'll show me that blue energy in his hand, around, like he'll make like symbols and stuff, and it's blue. So I know that he influences people. That's part of what he does, is he gives people information. He always tells me, I am Tesla, friend to healers. And so, I'm not surprised that other people get information about how to help people through him. He's just really great.
I agree. So, who can become a healing channel? Is there a difference between a healer and a healing channel?
Well, I guess what I would understand is a healer would be anybody that can help another person with their own energy. So by laying on of hands or doing it through the mind. And then a channel, from what I understand, and again, remember, I'm not a learned person. I know what I know because they gave it to me. So channeling seems to be, from my own, little human understanding, is that when a guide speaks and it comes out your mouth. So I do trance channeling, which just means that you have a person sitting next to you so that you're safe, called a control, and they lead your consciousness away from the body. And then a soul, you are always covered by your guide. For me, is always Saint Germain. And then a person on the other side can speak through you, out your mouth, over your vocal cords. So that's the channeling that I have done, trance channeling I've done. And then sometimes I channel if a guide steps through. So say if it was Cheif Sealth and he had a message that he wanted to come out my mouth in his own words rather than me just paraphrasing what he's telling me in my head. So healing channel could also be sending, so say for example, Reiki, you get plugged in when you learn Reiki 1, right? You're plugged into the Reiki switchboard basically, right? And then your Reiki guide is with you. And so that energy comes through. So to me, that seems like guided. Also, there's many people around who are working with one master. So say, who would I imagine right now? Well, like I had my healing tonight was Lord Adama who stepped in. And that I could feel, my friend said, okay, so here's the blue ray from Lord Adama. And I felt the healing come in. So that's certainly channel healing right there.
So how does one practice to become a healer? Is meditation and yoga beneficial?
I think the best word you said right there is practice. I think it's doing it every day. I think it's doing it on yourself and doing it every day and trying to find, your own victims around you, right? Trying to talk people into getting a healing. I know that's what I did. I would, when I learned Reiki, I would say, oh, please, do you have an owie that I could try?
Yeah.
And, you want to have their permission that they give you the yes, that it's okay to send the healing, whether it's through the ether, through the mind, or whether it's a person in front of you. You always want to get the yes. And so I think, I don't know. I'm just such a fan of Reiki. I think it's great because it takes away karma. You get plugged into the switchboard I was talking about. You always get a Reiki guide. So if you can't remember the symbols, they help you with it. They want you to take a really good stab at remembering those symbols. There's not that many of them. So you should know how to draw symbols perfectly. And of course, you get the attunement through your crown and through your hands. And then you have those beautiful, warm, buzzing hands so that you can help people at any time. So I think that's a great start. And then any way that you can keep the vessel happy, right? You have to have a well in which to, draw a little energy on. So eating good food, drinking tons of water, especially in the vibration right now. And especially I noticed that today it was 85, I think, here. I had to drink a ton more water. And if you're using your brain to do this, that's where, water comes from first is your brain, right? And so you don't want to do that. You want to have enough in the vessel and just doing whatever you can to beef up your energy. I don't know a healer that doesn't have their own challenges. And so that's why when you plug into this higher energy, that you have the guides that are assisting, or you plug into that higher consciousness, right? You're not using your own. This isn't about doing it on your own, because then you'll get very tired. You'll lose your personal energy. So I would just say, if anybody's out there who thinks that they want to, by all means, find somebody who's a master and find out how to do it. There's people who believe, as I do, that Reiki should be either very low cost or free. And I think there should be more Reiki masters on this earth. I think everybody needs to learn that. I think if Reiki was taught in kindergarten, I think there'd be a difference. My personal goal is I'd like to have a whole room full of politicians, and I'd like to give them some Reiki.
Yeah, I think they need that pretty badly, the most part.
But everything's changing, and I'm so hopeful that in our lifetime things are going to change. This energy is coming in to do its job, and so I am so positive that things are going to change. And I just don't watch the news, and I hold the vibe of love and hope that everybody is going to get with the program.
Yeah, I often try to share love and light with my friends and family, and I think it's important in this world. I mean, it's a beautiful world, but it's very ugly right now at the same time, and just lifting each other up and supporting each other and sharing love and light and that positive energy is so important when there's so much negativity surrounding us. So thank you for being who you are and doing what you do.
Sure, it's my extreme pleasure. It's the best thing to do. My most favorite thing to do is to help somebody, and I think that what my guide said to me recently that was so eye-opening is, this was my guide Ra. He said, you came in at this time to assist, as everybody who's on the planet now. We all agreed to be on the planet right now. So somehow we all decided that here we are at this time. And he said, so did we. We decided to be here right now. So to me, that was amazing to hear them say that they want to be here too. And I know that there's a lot of eyeballs and a lot of ships trained on Earth right now. And I know that what's on their lips is, ascend, will ya? Come on, you can do it. Come on. Yeah.
So have you found that there have been a lot more sightings of alien craft recently?
I think there'd have to be, because they are out there. And I think there'd have to be. I mean, I have heard them. I think I might have seen something. But like I told you, I was the kid that always just said, come and get me. So I knew it was going to happen one way or the other. And I taught a class the other day about meeting our Galactic brothers, and I asked the people in the class, and every one of the people in the class had some kind of an experience. So, yeah, they've been out there. They've always been out there, So they're probably us. We're probably them. I don't know how it works.
Yeah, we're learning every day.
Yep.
So do you believe that spiritual healing works in cooperation with other forms of healing?
I do, especially healing with food and supplements and exercise and water. I mean, if I could say something to inspire people, I would say, oh, for goodness sakes, we got to drink more water. Most people are not drinking enough. And again, I'll say that thing about the brain. That's where the water comes from first. And most people, it's proved out on Facebook, good grief, we need all the brain cells we can get. So what I'm saying is definitely the body heals when it's at the correct vibration. And food and things that you do every day can make the body heal. And energy work is great with anything else. So my last thing I would ever tell somebody to do is to take a pill, when there's so many awesome supplements and herbs and different things out there, vitamins and food. That's the healer in my opinion.
So yeah, have you seen, I know you've interacted with the alien species. Have you seen alien craft or no?
You know, it wasn't like the folks that were in the class the other day who really had a big description. Each person, boy, they had some serious sighting. For me, I saw lights. And it's happened a couple of times. But the most amazing thing that ever happened was I was in a class with somebody a long time ago. This has been like, gosh, maybe 10 years ago. And I was sitting in the class and I could hear the loudest bang, 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 bang. And when it was, okay to speak, I said, did anybody hear that? And they didn't. But I was with a bunch of people who were psychic mediums and healers, and they all understood what it was, and I knew what it was too. It was somebody over us making their selves known. So the only thing that I've been around now, I mean, the thing that I can tell you for sure is the craft that I was in when they took me to the mountain. And that just looks like, like a capsule around me. I don't see a lot of detail because I'm so gobsmacked by the beautiful stars. You can see the stars, you can feel the movement. I'm tracking, how does my body feel? Where's my guide? What's going to happen? And then suddenly there we are right in front of the folks, So I know someday they're going to show me something. I have a feeling. I had a dream the other night that my friends and I were standing in the park and there were so many different races of galactics. We were all having a little party. We're all meeting. And I hope that happens in our lifetime. I believe it will.
Do you think harm can come to one in any way if spiritual healing is done incorrectly?
Well, with Reiki, it never can. It never can, because the Reiki guides are assisting, and it's nothing but beautiful healing. Again, you may not feel it exactly the way you might be expecting. The healing might come in a different way, but that's always 100%. Now, if somebody is trying to work on another individual and they're not experienced enough to understand what's going on with the individual, every once in a while it can be made worse. But that's not that often, and that's only happened with me, just like a couple times maybe, where it'll take a couple of whacks. This has been a long time ago. Take a couple of whacks to settle everything down. It generally means that you just didn't take care of everything. Or it could be a healing crisis. So say somebody comes and they have, some sort of process in the body. You send the healing, they feel worse. And then the next couple days after that, they start to feel better. Sometimes people don't feel anything. Sometimes people are completely transformed in one session. So your question was, can it ever cause a problem? I think, there's always that possibility. But, if I was out there looking for a healer, I would find somebody that somebody around you knows that has had great luck with, people that are very, that very much want to help and that have a good background, that have that can explain to you how they know what they're doing, how they do what they do, and that they're very clear about it, and that you can find them the next day if you need them,
Caden. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I just said, does that answer the question?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
Caden in the chat room was asking, what's your advice for someone needed to desperately do a cord cutting session? The how-to, basically. Could you help him with that?
Sure. The best cord cutting session I ever had was somebody who was working on me. My friend Jackie is an awesome shaman. And so what she did is she is a Native American woman, and she called in all of her guides. And first of all, she did a spirit bath where I bathed while I thought about what I needed to release. I wrote for days, wrote. and then I had different things cut off by her, and I felt lighter than air. That's one way. But that is certainly guided, because that's a whole guided, almost like a meditation. And then there's, of course, like a spirit, like a journey that you could take to cut. There's soul retrieval that will help. That's a whole different thing, I guess. But all of those things can find where you've got something attached, or you can just go to any type of a healer that can also see where the attachments are and pull it off of you. You can use crystals, you can use an obsidian knife or another type of a knife to take it off, but it kind of depends on what type of an attachment that you have. If you have an entity, if you have a troll, if you have just energy, if you have somebody up in your energy, it depends on what it is.
Okay, well, hopefully, Caden, that'll help you out. So can you tell us a little bit about your conference you just recently did?
You mean the one that I went to where I met the guides, or which conference do you mean?
You were saying how to get in touch with your galactic brothers.
Oh, that was a class.
Okay, sorry.
So, yeah, that's okay. I give classes on mediumship and psychometry and different types of healing, and this just happened to be the first time I ever had a class on how to get in touch with those folks. And it was really fun. It was fun because each person had a story. And then so what we did is I told mine, and then I asked if it was appropriate for everybody to get the upgrade, and we all did. And then I asked my guides to go ahead and touch everybody so that they could feel the touch and the healing. And then I asked the guides, the particular guides that wish to step in to assist those people. So everybody went home with their own galactic guide. It's a true story. So it's always the best if somebody can actually feel the healing happen. And so, it's just important to find out what kind of person are you. Are you, galactic oriented? Are you angelic oriented? Are you an earth person? Or do you vibe with the elementals? And on and on. And then depending on what you are, what type of person you are, then I can ask for the correct guide to step in so that you might feel that person. Sometimes you can't. And so I'd say like 9 out of 10 can feel. There's always that one person that either has too many things on them, too many attachments, or their brain is spinning so much they can't feel. So then we go to work with taking every last thing off so they can feel. Because I think it's important for somebody to walk away really feeling different. I really do. That's my goal.
Yeah, feeling better in any way is awesome. Every little bit counts.
It does.
So, as far as your guides go, I'm really interested, I think, for the most part, you have so many great ones, but Tesla really, really intrigues me. What is the most amazing thing that he has shared with you?
Oh my gosh. The thing that just absolutely blew my mind was I needed to bring together 3 individuals to have a little conference for a friend of mine. And this friend of mine is writing something. And I don't have the okie dokie to say this person's name out loud, so I'm not going to. And so it came up that we could ask Professor Einstein, Nikola Tesla, and Professor Hawking to show up, and I could channel them for this individual to speak to. And so for the first time in all the time I've ever channeled or I've ever spoken to somebody on the other side, they asked me to set a time, if you can imagine. So those guys, I tell you, I couldn't believe it. I just went, wow, that's fascinating. Because, they don't do that. It's all, many, many different places at once. They can do everything, right? But they had me set that time. We set that time, and I could see them all appear in front of me, and they all gave the message. And what I have noticed about folks on the other side is that if they are fully crossed over or they are, and it could be your deceased grandfather. It could be somebody that's famous. It can be one of your guides. It could be anybody. They all tend to, and I think it's me too, is that they all often try to make me laugh. They often have a sense of humor, and they just tell you things that just, make your head spin. It's also beautiful. And so these guys ribbed each other the whole time, and it was the funniest thing ever. And they told me who they used to be. They told me, what they used to do. They told me about little stories on each other, and it was just beautiful. And I'm so glad that prior to meeting those three in that way, of course, I have talked to those guys before, but having them come together in a group like that, to me, was probably the most amazing thing. The other, really amazing thing was when Mr. Tesla showed me our life together. That was just really beautiful because I could feel his love for me and my love for him. And it was not the time he was Tesla, it was prior to that.
Trippin in the chat room is asking, so who killed Tesla and took his records? Do you have any idea on that?
Everybody wants to know that. But
yeah.
What's funny
Most of his works were taken, so yeah, that's a good question.
And what's really funny is watching the specials, the shows and stuff on Netflix with Mr. Tesla, watching Mr. Tesla on TV. That's really fun. But what they told me, especially when those three gentlemen were on my sofa, they told me, we do not want you, and we do not work with you for your mind. We work with you for your heart. And when those guys come through, they are often about heart-centered realities and not necessarily the technical stuff for me. Because I tell you, my brain doesn't work that way. I can barely run my cell phone. So what he did tell me, we haven't even gone through that at all because my brain goes to the healing stuff and what he wants me to do. We don't even go there. But I can tell you that special that was on Netflix, there was some stuff that was incorrect because as I was watching him with me, when we were talking about it, he kept shaking his head. So there were problems. And so you probably might wonder, why in the world is that my guide and I never grilled him about life on Earth with him being that person? That's not why he and I are together. He and I are together to affect change. And he has given those symbols so that I can pass that along to every person I ever talk to. And that will change your life. That EMF thing, that blocker, that rectangle around the body and those triangles, that will change how you feel. And that's what he wants me to tell people.
Awesome. Ronald was saying, I'm a perfect Cancer. Is that good?
Meaning he's a Cancer sign?
I believe so. That's the only thing I can think.
Okay. Even though I was around Miss Eileen for about 4 months, none of that stuff fell in my head very much because when I was on the astrology show, what my function was to read the people who came up in the news. So she would talk about, different politicians or different, famous and infamous folks, and, the daily forecast, the monthly forecast and all that kind of stuff. And we would read people as they came on the air. So I can't hold that kind of stuff in my brain. I know my own sign and a few other ones, but I don't really know much about that. I really don't. So you guys are picking up what goes on with me. I'm very oriented to healing and to understanding that kind of stuff, but I don't know that much about certain, esoteric, categories. I just don't.
Yeah, Tripp's saying again, what did he say? Where are his records then if he wants change? And I think when you go on the other side, your vision of change is different than your earthly vision of change. Like to us, all these epic implements and tools and weaponry and free energy and all this amazing stuff he did are key to us, but it may be different in the spirit world. So, yeah, he's just... Everybody wants to know where those 50 cases went with all his documents in there, and the only 30 were left, and yeah.
That's right. That's just kind of just went into thin air. So what I have to say about that is he has told me that he is influencing young people today, and that his work is going to be expanded, and that it's already on the earth now, obviously. And so what was important to us when we are here on earth oftentimes is absolutely not. And if it is, say, for example, let's just say somebody passed away and somebody did them wrong and all of this, if they come through still talking about that and in anger or anything, they're not 100% crossed over, because once you're over there and you've had your teaching, you learn what you did right, what you did wrong, how it all went down, you know, you're not the same individual here. So that kind of stuff doesn't occur to me, to get the down and dirty. That doesn't occur to me. What occurs to me is watching what he can do on the human body. That's what's fascinating to me.
So, we have a couple people in the chat room who are curious about your name, Rock and Roll Psychic. Sleepy Dave is saying, I thought we were going to hear about rock and rollers who got readings, which would go against the whole, client professionality and keeping that stuff kind of secret. And, and somebody else was, not sure where rock and roll came in here, but all good. Can you kind of explain to them where you got your name, Rock and Roll Psychic?
I sure can. Yep, that kind of got blessed upon me. I was trying to figure out, did I need something to describe myself? Did I want to have like a little tagline or something? And for about a hot second, I was discussing this with my friend Kate Mariah, who's a really good reader. And I said, what do you think of this? Because, I mean, it's like, could it be tofu-loving psychic or antique dealing psychic? I mean, what is it? What am I
yeah.
Myself apart. Well, there's nothing I love more than rock and roll music. I have ever since I was a kid. And I think in song lyrics sometimes. And what I do, the main reason here is that when I start to, if I know that I'm going to read people or I know that I'm going to do some work, I turn on Metallica or I turn on AC/DC and I crank the metal, and that helps me to focus. And, I have some health issues, and I also am, I'm chemically sensitive and I'm sensitive to noise and stuff. I have absolutely no idea how I can listen to that. Don't know why I can crank it up to 30 and just go to town. I have no idea why I can do it, but it helps me focus in some way. And so that is how that happened, and I have no idea. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. It just is.
Yeah,
and also
I agree.
Everybody, they say
ahead.
my name incorrectly sometimes. At least they can remember that. So.
Yeah, I was worried about the pronunciation. I'm like, is it Marie or Mary? But as far as music goes, I think it's very important. Like, music to me is medicine. And when I was in boot camp, we didn't get music unless we're doing cadence, or we didn't get TV unless there was a hurricane coming. We could watch that. But I remember going to the medical facility and riding the bus, and we had this bus driver who would turn the music on, but he'd turn it down so quietly that everyone would have to be quiet to hear it. And I swear to you, not a word was spoken on that bus. Usually people would be gabbing it up, but everybody missed that music and the medicine and the healing process of it, and it does kind of attune you, and I don't know, it's just something amazing and magical about music. I do believe that it is something very important to us and good for us in our everyday lives.
Yes, you are so right, and I just believe in being 100% ethical, so I never speak about anybody's reading. I never do. And so, yes, I have spoken to a lot of deceased folks that were musicians, and I have heard from them, and they certainly come through, and they have a lot to say. And then the other thing, of course, is there's music right now that can be really healing that I tend to listen to right now, and I just want to say these words because it might really help people. So if you go on YouTube and you look for the music of Wizard Azanon, it's Azanon, A as an apple. If you look up that music, It's music that sounds like boom, 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 boom. And what it does is it has a beautiful light show kind of to follow along, and you can feel the healing in that. It's just the most beautiful thing ever. And there's a card deck that goes with it too. So just check that out. It's AZANON. You'll be really glad you did. I tell you, that just changes how you feel.
Yeah, and there's different like meditation music and different things that are supposed to affect you differently. You know, whether you need to calm down or amp up or just be still. Trip, still on the Tesla case. So after Tesla died, doesn't he care about his life's obsession?
If you mean his life's work, it's on to new people that will go further than him. He is influencing folks from this side. So what you just heard through me is his work. So yes, he cares about us greatly. Why else did he give us the symbols? So it's not as juicy as saying, where did the trunks go, and was it the Germans, or blah, blah, blah. It's, you got to rise above that. It's what's happening now, and how is humanity going to be changed with what's coming through from those absolute guides on the other side. And if you take that, that can help you feel better. It really will. It can help. And if you do the adjustment that we're going to learn to do in just a little bit, you'll feel a lot better. And that's what those folks want you to do. They want you to survive the ascension.
Can you tell us some of your healing success stories without naming names unless having permission to do so?
Sure. A woman had the inability to have a bowel movement. She had such a block. She was only getting through just, stringy water, and is healed now. But she did some work on herself, coffee enemas and some supplements, and changed her diet and quit drinking soda. Oh my goodness, that stuff will kill you. But she often thanks me, and I'm so thrilled to have ever been a little part of that. Somebody called me the other day, and we had a conversation about emotions. She was so sick. She sounded like, she was really froggy and hadn't been sleeping and was just sick with a virus. And we did some work together, and within the next day, she was completely over it. People who have had migraines, people who have eye problems, people who have ear problems, people who have, what is that thing where you can't move your arm? Oh, what is that called? Frozen shoulder, back trouble, all kinds of different things. Probably the most, the funnest thing is that when I teach people how to do Reiki, I say everybody has their own miracle. And my first Reiki miracle was my own Reiki master's daughter. And my Reiki master, Maureen Brennan Mercier, and I were working on her daughter who had had a terrible car accident. And nobody would touch her as far as an osteopath or a chiropractor because her neck was so profoundly hurt that it wasn't time to be doing that at all. It was time to heal. And so we focused the Reiki on the neck, and you could hear, and it went right in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and she had buzzing, nerve pain, a lot of pain, a lot of pressure, couldn't move her neck, on and on and on. And so that's the power of Reiki right there. So yeah, there's miracles, and every Reiki master will have one for sure, or more.
Trip was wondering, did she see a doctor?
Oh my gosh, the one that got in an accident?
I believe so.
Oh my gosh, yes. That was, oh my goodness, yes. Yeah, that was a terrible accident. And yes, absolutely. This is healing after all of the medical work done, and it's been so many years, I don't remember. You might have been thinking, he might have been talking about the one that had cancer, the one, maybe? So I don't know what they're talking about. All I know is people are in front of me, they get better. So, and it's not me. It is absolutely not me. It's the guides' work. But the healer in the equation is the person in the body. The person who comes from healing, that for healing, that's the healer right there. All we're doing is, I guess what it would be observing. That's all I can tell you. We're observing the body so that the healing light can come in. I hope that makes sense to you. So if the person who sits down in front of any Reiki master, any quantum touch practitioner, whatever it is they're doing, if they come in with an open heart, ready to heal, then something good's going to happen.
Okay, we have about 11 more minutes to go before our next break. Is there anything you feel is important to let our listeners know in order to, focus on healing, or perhaps be a healer if they feel they have that gift?
Gosh, what's really made a big difference in me, I guess, I just can only speak for myself, but there's a whole lot of people involved with the same thing that I think would say the same thing as I do, is put yourself into a community where you can feel as though there's others around you that are interested in the same thing. So about a year ago, I was able to be a part of a showcase that's here in town. And what the showcase is there's a group of astrologers, healers, psychics, mediums, pet psychics, all kinds of different folks. And it's always different. There's kind of a core, but different people slide in and out. And we are part of the panel. And so people come in and pay $5 to bring their item to be read in psychometry. And this has been going on for years and years. And you can find it on Facebook, Lou J. Free Psychic Showcase. It's FREE. And if you look it up, there's all kinds of people that posted, and that's pretty interesting. And she has run this showcase for a long time, and people come every Tuesday night. And what I've found there is I've been able to hear my own lesson and then the lesson of everybody out in the audience. And you know that it's not just for them, that it's for us too. And I found family there. And literally, I found family. It turned out I was actually related to two people there, if you can believe that, just out of the blue. I didn't know them. They didn't know me. And but I've met so many wonderful people. So if you're thinking you have the shine to you, you think you might have the gift, find yourself something like that. So here in the Tacoma, the Seattle Tacoma area, there's tons of these things. You could practically go to one every day. And find yourself one and plug in and get some help. Listen to the lessons. Find yourself a spiritual church where it's about mediumship. Find metaphysical fairs or metaphysical bookstores, or learn about crystals, learn about something to help you be able to make some sense about your gift. Because there's lots of people out there that feel like they have either soul spirits around them and it scares them, or the ability to understand what somebody's going through, like the gift of empathy, or to be empathic. And they don't understand. So especially little kids are so incredibly talented and open right now. It's just a joy to see young ones coming in with, the crystal, the blue crystal. It's so interesting to see that happening. And so just find yourself people and plug in. I think that's just the thing I love the most. There's also so much stuff on Facebook. I can't believe it. Whenever I read something, or some of my friends, send me something, whether it, floats down through my brain pan, I don't know, but I can, just recognize it as being, oh gosh, I'm glad it's out there for folks that need to have some sort of support. So it's all, it's all about the support, I guess.
I believe that's true. I mean, I call my kids spooks. They all have their own little spiritual gifts. My oldest is, she has healing qualities, and she can see things spiritually. My second oldest, she's able to not only see the spirits, but feel what they're feeling at that moment in time for them.
Okay.
and even my two youngest see things, and I believe my youngest daughter, out of all of my kids, had a past life. I'm sure, they all have, but she is one that remembers. She remembers being an older man with glasses, and one time I caught her trying to tie a lanyard around her leg, and she's saying, well, I have to tie this off or I'll bleed out and I'll die. And I'm like, you're only 2 years old. Like, how do you even know this stuff? But, I mean, I find it pretty amazing when they can do that and they can remember without doing the past life regression. And it is amazing, how open-minded people are. And, when I was younger, my aunt who raised me, she's still very closed-minded to the other side. She doesn't even want to deal with it. It really freaks her out, and she'd shut me down. Oh, that was just your imagination, or this and this and that and that. And I think that somewhat closes the door or the window, for people who are gifted. And so I feel like I had a late start trying to build on my gifts, and I find it very refreshing that people are open-minded and, not only supporting their kids, but, helping them along the way, and, they want them to succeed. And I do believe that you should build upon your gifts. I mean, I had an aunt who told me that doing paranormal investigation and trying to help ghosts on the other side pass over was a sin, and why would God help me if I'm sinning? And to me, the sin would be not building on the gift that he gave me, So, there are different viewpoints, but stay true to yourself and build on your gift, and don't be afraid of it. Don't fear it.
Right. And I mean, what I always say when I hear that once in a blue moon, not so much anymore, but I always say, my friend Jesus was the greatest healer the world's ever known. And he said that we can do the same thing. So that's what I believe in. And I met a little 5-year-old the other day who had her mom and dad bring her in because she wanted to know her purpose. I thought that was great. So at 5 years old, she wanted to know her purpose. And as she was leaving, I looked under her chair and there was a key under there. Somebody sometime had dropped a key. And I said, oh, look, there's a key under your chair. And she said, perhaps the spirit left that and it's meant to tell us something. I mean, that's just the way she talked. It was really something. I thought, oh, that's the best. That was the best day ever. I just keep thinking about that lovely little person.
Yeah, kids are so cute, and when they're straightforward like that, like when they have no fear and they just speak what they're thinking, it's very refreshing.
It is. I said, have you ever considered doing my job, like right now?
Yeah.
That's great. I loved it.
We have about 5 more minutes before we go to break. Let's see.
Well, could we?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, and then tell me what you were going to say. But I was going to say, I just really encourage people to call in and either ask your question or just give your name, and just be sure that you don't tell me anything. I don't want anything past the name or something very open. So you could say something like my health, my career, my family, somebody on the other side, something like that, because you don't want to give any information, and that would go, all the way down the line. If you come in to see somebody and they ask you a lot of questions, it could be that the information isn't coming in for them. So I always just tell people to just be very, don't say too much, and just, keep open and keep your hands and feet apart. And if the energy of healing comes in, please close your eyes so that you can really feel it, because you probably will. And be sure to say if you don't, because we can always adjust a little bit.
Trip in the chat room is asking, do you think there were healers before Jesus?
Oh, absolutely. There's been people like us forever. Like I said, I always say, I'm not special. There's lots of us out there. And, if you guys think I'm weird, you ought to meet my buddies. So there's people out there that can do so many things. I'm sure you guys know who Charlie the Healer is, right? And there's always been people that have been tuned in to thoughts and feelings and body. And yeah, so absolutely. Question is absolutely. Answer is absolutely. In my humble opinion.
Yeah, Charlie the Healer, I have not heard that name. Could you kind of give me some feedback on that?
I hope I have this correct. I watched him on television when it was cold out. So last winter, maybe, he was on television, just a few episodes. And I can't remember which network it was. But I do know that if you go on his Facebook or Instagram or something like that, it might say how you can view those. And I can't remember if they're on YouTube or what. So what he does is he is able to clear most physical processes. And he's just really great at it. And so he's been doing his job for, I want to say 20 years, but I could be incorrect. Everybody just go look up Charlie the Healer, an Australian gentleman. And he's just so kind. You can tell that kindness and love just flows through that gentleman. And I remember there was one episode where he healed a little boy who had a chromosomal abnormality, maybe. His name was Gibson. I hope I have this correct. I can't remember. My brain is not, my memory's not so great. But the little guy had a lot of pain and couldn't sleep, and he just fell asleep. And the next day he was better and has continued to get better. So this guy is something very, very, very special. And I love watching him. I hope it happens again, that he's on TV again, because there's nobody, I don't think. So look him up.
Yeah, I'll have to do that, because I haven't heard of him, but it's really intriguing. And I did watch a YouTube video with you where you were in a bar and you were trying to pass a spirit over, and you could actually see the orb crossing your path as it did so, and that was quite amazing. Would they just look up your name under YouTube to find that video?
Yes. Gosh, I am so non-techie. By the time I come back, I'll be able to tell you how you can find that. You could just look up Mari Beckman, though. I think it's like Mari Beckman Psychic, maybe. That was my very first YouTube video. I'm just not techie. What happened was a lovely lady.
I'm sorry, Mary. Can you hold that thought? And we got to go to our second break, and we'll be right back.
Of course.
The first annual Caribou Paracon is happening September 28th to 30th in the 108 Mile Ranch, British Columbia. Brought to you by the Canadian Society of Questers and Spaced Out Radio. Come listen to our featured speaker, Grant Cameron, along with Elizabeth Anglin, Paisley Town, Mike Moran, Eric Cooper, and more. It's a 3-day supernatural adventure at the Spruce Hills Resort and Spa. Tickets for the weekend are $150 Canadian. The Caribou Paracon, celebrating everything paranormal.
Are you tired of being blocked, shadow banned, or placed in jail for simply posting your thoughts on social media? Social Media Freedom can take care of that for you. Social Media Freedom is the newest and one of the best free new apps that allows you the freedom to post what you want, when you want. It takes seconds to download from your app store. Come join the tribe at Social Media Freedom. It's time to set yourself free.
A timepiece is a reflection of who you are, and what better way to show off the real you than with an Escape watch? Escape is a lifestyle brand accessorizing your days and nights. Choose to escape and create the life of discovery that you deserve. Dream, play, unite with your own personalized Escape watch. Head to escapewatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
Not ready for bed on Saturday night? Right after Spaced Out Saturdays, hop on over to S4 with Corey Ruiz and me, Eric Cooper from Forest Moon Paranormal. With S4, there are no limits to what we try and uncover. From government conspiracies to helping clean up the paranormal, no topic is safe on S4. We get to the heart of the matter, of the subjects you want to learn more about. So tune in on S4 starting at midnight Pacific, 3 a.m. Eastern, only on SpacedOutRadio.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
This is Eric Markham, news editor for the Spaced Out Radio's The Encounter Online. We have put together a great team of writers and journalists from all over the world to bring you top-quality paranormal stories, from alien encounters to the latest conspiracies. You won't find any of that fake news here. True stories and top-notch reporting as we look to bring these experiences to the mainstream. The Encounter Online, only at spacedoutradio.com.
The Call of the Wild is in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is one of the hottest bars and restaurants in the city. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose will rock you like a hurricane all night long. Great food with everything on the menu at $6.95 near the corner of Nelson and Granville. Get your horns up and come rock with us. The Moose Vancouver, the official rocking bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Do you want to know the truth? Do UFOs exist? Are aliens real? Are the governments hiding the biggest secret in history? We're UFO seekers, and we're on a hunt for the truth. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow along with us as we journey across the United States, visiting UFO hotspots and alien hotspots, trying to document the UFO phenomenon. Catch us on Spaced Out Radio every third Monday of the month as we discuss Area 51, UFOs, and more. And also, don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube.
Hi there, this is Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio, and I want you to come on a nightly journey. Starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, every Monday through Friday, you can come hang out with me and the other space travelers. We have it all from Carl the Alien bouncing on by to those misfit gnomes causing havoc. It's 3 hours of fun and entertainment on those topics the mainstream really doesn't want to touch. Come get all paranormal with us at spacedoutradio.com, and together, my friends, along with our resident guitar god Bumblefoot, we own the night.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
We're lighting the void on Saturday nights on Spaced Out Radio. Hey, this is Joe Roop, and I'm hanging out in SOR headquarters every Saturday night, bringing you the latest news when it comes to the weird and strange. Bigfoot, occult, UFOs, ghosts, and everything in between, I got you covered. You can tune in to spacedoutradio.com starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern Time. Come travel into the void with us on Spaced Out Saturdays.
Tonight's show and topic of discussion do not necessarily reflect the opinion of Spaced Out Radio, SOR Media, or its hosts. Listener discretion is advised. Here comes the second hour of Spaced Out Sunday with host Tessa Nicole Thomas. Subscribe to us on our YouTube channel, Spaced Out Radio. And you can follow Tessa on Twitter at TessaTNT. Now, back to the show.
Hey guys, welcome back. This is the third hour, so we're going to be taking calls on Skype. The phone number for that is 970-335-9596. Again, the number is 970-335-9596. 9596. And if you don't feel comfortable calling in, feel free to leave a message in the chat room. So, Mari, we were talking about your YouTube video. Did you want to finish on that real quick?
Sure, yes. If you just type in my name, MariBeckman, and it's Spirit Orbs in Bar. And what the reason was that the owner contacted me was that her employees were being touched or pushed by an unseen spirit. They just had it happen, kept on having it happen, and they were quitting. So she was running through employees. And so as I came in, I could see various different souls and one entity in the bar, and we were able to release them. And so what you can see on the video is orbs going past me as I'm releasing. So that was my first YouTube video. So hopefully we'll have some more.
Yeah, I watched that and it was pretty amazing. Like I said, I've gotten pictures of orbs and I've also seen them with my naked eye, but to see that, and it wasn't, like a flare of dust or anything like that. You could see the individual orb just fly through. And I think there was 2 occasions, and one was when you were releasing the spirit, and it was just very epic to me.
Oh, thank you. It was really great because I was able to see that individual recognize the person that came for him on the other side. And so once that individual recognized his family member in the light, he was able to cross. So that's part of the process. The other that was going on in that building was there was an entity that was very heavy feeling and just not anything I wanted to deal with. And so that is when I would call in Archangel Michael, and he would be able to remove the entity that's attached to the building. So we were able to cross over to the other side, 2 souls. And then just as soon as I came in the building, 1 soul just left. They just left. And then on their own, they didn't cross over. They just decided not to be in the building any further. And then the entity was removed by the Holy One. So the owner tells me that there hasn't been any problem, and I've actually been back to help with another matter and we were trying to pick up the video that day and help with another matter, and she told me all was clear, so that made me really happy.
Okay, and can you give any guidelines for anyone wanting to call in and leave a message? I know you went over it before, but can you do that again?
Oh, sure. If somebody would like to come in and ask for healing or ask for some understanding, what I would like you to do is just give your name. First name is just fine. I just need the vibration off of it. And maybe your hometown, that's totally fine too. And then ask the question, so you could say something like health or relationships or past life or other side or career, something like that. I just wouldn't want any kind of information. I like to read blindly.
So Trip was asking that you had mentioned healing a cancer patient. Why not go to a children's cancer hospital and heal them? I mean, were they doing the medical side as well as the spiritual healing?
Not this individual, no. This individual decided to use food and lifestyle changes and energy healing to clear. And for the answer to why don't I do that, I have a certain amount of time and focus on what I'm interested in right now. And so I tend to help people who come to me rather than put it out there like that. There may be a time in the future where I would like to work with folks who are veterans. That's kind of a something that means an awful lot to me. My dad was a veteran, in World War II, and my nephew was in Kuwait. So I have helped veterans before with PTSD. I'm very interested in PTSD and very interested in pain. And so the question was, do I help people for free? Absolutely. And I also get paid for it. And so I am not asking for people to call me with their issues right now, because I'm handling certain things on my own and doing different things right now. I'm not taking on that project right now, but certainly it did happen, and there you go. I just worked with somebody tonight that had a certain type of cancer. So cancer is just one thing. It's just a vibration. It's just it just is.
Okay, so we have a question or someone wanting a reading here. Caden Corinth and past life.
Okay. Hold on just a second while I check in. So, Holy Ones, is everybody in place? And am I ready to go? Yes, I am. Okay. So, Caden, and how does Caden spell their name? Is it C-A-D-E-N or K-A-D-E-N?
It's C-A-D-E-N.
Okay, got it. That's sometimes that makes a difference. Okay, so I see this individual, and so you might be able to kind of hang with my process, because it goes in a certain direction. And so oftentimes it's either seeing exactly what's going on, or I'm seeing symbols of it. And so what I see with this person is I see their head out of the water. So I see them underwater with just the head from about the mouth up. And I see this individual being looked at by people in a boat. So there's people that are looking for this person, and this person is trying to hide out. So Caden may be, let's see, feeling some pressure in the chest maybe, or some stress that they're not sure where it's exactly coming from. They also might be possibly having, hold on just a minute here. Possibly some inability to speak, because what I see is I see a blue energy around the neck. And if it's okay with that individual, I'd like to go ahead and work on them. Are they open to that?
Caden, are you open to that?
That's okay. Okay, I'm just going to keep watching when you get the okay.
Caden says go for it.
Okay, great. So go ahead and see if you can feel a little bit of very slight pressure against the first part, like the front part of your head, maybe the back part of the neck, maybe even down near the chest. And then you may feel just a slight rising up. So a lightening of energy in the body as this is removed off of the neck. There is a adjustment in the brain flattening out, which that just means some stresses that tend to come from a couple different directions will feel less prevalent. So if I look at the brain before the guides adjust, I can see that you have issues thinking about stuff that's gone on into the past, and it's probably connected with this. This is subconscious, so I'm not sure if it's going to ring your bell, but the symptoms might. So do you understand what I'm saying so far, and do you feel the pressure or the change in the body?
He typed in throat, so I believe that's where he was feeling it.
Awesome. Okay, so that has been removed out of the throat. So when I get everything off the throat, I am able to see, while my guides are still working on you, what they're doing is some emotional releases right now. They tell me it's totally fine to talk over the fact that they're working on you. So when everything was removed, when that blue energy got taken away from the throat, what I can see in there is that you're a truthful individual, but it's kind of clogged up in there. So it would be best for you to associate with other truth-telling individuals. We're also releasing some stuff out of the mouth. We're waiting for all of that to come out. That part in the brain that has to do with worrying and thinking about the past, if you continue to do that, it continues to make the brain, it continues to allow the brain to just keep doing it. So try to stay in the moment, and when you think about the past, just completely think, I am somewhere else. I'm down on the beach, I'm in the forest. You do that every time you think about the past, and you give yourself enough to think about. So when I tell people to go out down on the beach, I ask them to stand in the sand, hear the gulls overhead, feel the air, hear the surf. You put yourself with all of your senses heightened. And if you do that enough, you will stop thinking about some of this old stuff. We also have a male that is past life for you. There is a connection between that male and you, and we're taking down that connection now. This individual was detrimental to you in that past life, and there was still something that carried through into this life. It has to do with how you see yourself. So once we take that down, I can see you looking in your own mirror and then putting the mirror down as if you don't want to look at yourself. Does any of this make sense?
Just waiting on our responses. We have a 20-second delay.
Yep, that's just fine.
He said, yep, spot on.
All right. Well, good deal, Caden. Good luck to you. I hope you feel better. We closed up the part for anxiety, too. So, my dear, have a good evening.
Thank you so much for that. Let's see.
Thanks for calling in to be the first victim. That's awesome.
Yvonne was asking, past life, please, and her name is spelt Yvonne.
Okay. All right. So where I see Yvonne is I see her walking on a path in the forest. There's trees all around. You can't quite see too much of sunlight. So it's dappled as it's a sunny day out. She's walking along. She's looking at her feet. She's not looking up ahead. And she walks right into a block. So there's something that's blocking her in a couple different ways. She's got her feet tied together. She's got her hands tied together. And she's got that tree right in her spot. So could you tell me, Yvonne, does that make sense to you?
And we're just waiting for a response from Yvonne.
Okay.
Yvonne, does what Mary said make any sense to you?
So while she's cogitating, we're just going to go on to the next thing. So what I see back and forth is if she were to just walk on by or just continue to go, that this tree is just going to lay down. So my advice to her would be to go on forward. This has to do with work, I think. So Holy Ones, that's a work thing. Here we go. There we go. Work thing in some way, because I see the pink light back and forth. Now, what does that have to do with past life? What I see now is once that individual gets up to the water, I can also see that she has people from the other side coming across. And they're showing me that at least one of the people that she has on the other side that was in her family this time, or I don't know who it is yet because I can't see him quite yet, but has to do with this past life, because they're showing me, I always see past life people on the left. They're showing me crossing back and forth. So past life with this individual. So Holy Ones, who is that person that's going to get off the ferry boat to talk to Yvonne? Okay, so madam, are you an ancestor? Are you a family member? Yep, so they drop it in my head, so I can already tell, but I just use my pendulum to double check that I'm hearing the words correctly because I'm skeptical. And then I understand that are you higher than grandmother? Are you grandmother? Okay, so this is grandmother mother's side. And the way I know that is because that's up above your head. And right directly above the head is the mother. Directly above that person's head is grandmother. So you guys are just the same on the totem pole. And she tells me that you have the same issue with speaking your truth as your mother and your grandmother. Do you understand that? Okay, awesome. Well, not awesome for you, but but I saw what that is. And you did go ahead and you walked over it, and that's really good. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to clear your throat out, which is what's happening right now. So you may feel a little bit of energy around you. You may feel that rising up. Okay, and so I'm also wondering if you have something going on in your tummy. I just want to make sure that that's absolutely what it is.
And she responded yes to the last thing you had said, not to this one.
Okay, but we're still going to go with this tummy thing. And is that also past life, Holy Ones? Yeah, it is. So sometimes, every once in a blue moon, we will see something that hasn't happened yet. So she's either going to say, yes, I have this, or this in my tummy, or it's not happened yet. So what's going on is there's that there's another connection to another person. So are you a past life person? But you're not somebody that nope, that's not the same person. This is somebody else. So we're taking down the energy around that past life person so that if she can respond with the affirmative, there is something going on in the stomach that should settle down, because I can see the light changing color in the stomach and that issue going away. And it is done, it is done, it is done. Okay, and so then what we want to do is we want to remove from the throat and the stomach the same symbol. So here we go. This is my guide Nione. You probably will feel this. Here we go. Okay, and she says she dealt with a negative person. Is this the same negative person that she built up the issue in the throat and the issue in the stomach? And yes, that's true. Okay, so more than likely, oh, and they also tell me this is a past life thing for her too. She built up a symbol in the throat and the stomach, which had to be released by my guide, who does it in a very specific way. And this is energy that comes at you from somebody who either nags or give you a whole bunch of heck, and you collect it up in your throat and stomach. Not always both places, but most times both. And this is past life with that person, so let me just double check that is. And Holy Ones, do I understand that that person that was giving her a hard time, were they past life, Yvonne and the person giving her a hard time? Yes. Okay. So is there anything I can take down between those two? And they say, yeah, they say no, it is a no, because one of a couple things. They say at least two things. And what is it? And is this Yvonne or is this the other person? Yeah, it's the other person learning a lesson here, right? So whatever happened with you guys, that was on that person. They are actually learning the lesson. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and Yvonne was saying, to your earlier question, I have autoimmune effects, mouth to stomach. Sjogren's?
Sjogren's, yeah, okay. So I'm hoping, my dear, that you're going to feel better. Are you having any, I'm not looking, but I'm just asking, have you ever had any eye issues with that? Because I know that can...
Yeah. Have you had any eye issues with that?
So what the deal is they just want her to make sure that she's eating correctly. So Holy Ones, is she eating correctly? You can get another couple of ticks up by clearing up your diet. Is there a particular diet she should be doing, but just a better diet? So they're just saying a better diet. So that would be, if I were to understand correctly, no processed foods, just eating cleanly. And then does she need the additional water, a little bit more water? And then there may have been something that you quit taking. So it could be like a pill or a vitamin or supplement or something. And that feels good to them that you changed or stopped. That feels good. And a little bit more exercise if you possibly could.
Okay, and she just answered a little bit ago and said yes to one of your questions.
Yeah, it could be eye issues because sometimes Sjogren's will bother your eyeballs. And if that's the case, Holy One, asking Nyon if she would. Okay, so Yvonne, if you can hear me, please, I'd like you to close your eyeballs, please. So here we go. I'm going to feel maybe a slight bit of pressure in the front of your face, right over the eye, and possibly deep within your skull. Okay. And I would love to know if she felt that, please. Now, what they're doing now is adjusting those. You had attachments between hand and hand and foot to foot, and those are gone. And so, very positive at your work right now. This coming up, you've got, I can see the pink light like a searchlight, so that's positive. So just go ahead and make up your mind about what it is you want, because once you do that, you can go ahead. There's a lot of positivity coming up. So that's all, my dear.
She said, whoa, yes. So I believe we had some positive effects.
Yeah, that eyeball thing, that was pretty awesome because we were waiting to see those eyeball color changes. Yeah, so sometimes people will open their eyes and see differently. It's pretty interesting. It's like, wow, I can see a lot better, or, you know, son of a gun, whatever was going on is not going on. So good for you, Yvonne. Yeehaw. Thank you, Holy Ones. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Okay, Craig is asking, do I need any heals as far as healing?
I would rather have him, well, hold on a minute here. Hold on. So may I see Craig, Holy One? Okay, so the first thing that comes up with him is he's got a symbol around his head that tells me he's thinking. And I'm going to clear that up through my guide. He's also got a slight bit of a red ring around there, which could mean headache or tension. Taking that down. So hold on a minute here. Moving around would be would be beneficial for him if he got a little bit more of moving around. It feels to me like there's sitting going on, so it could be a job that he sits or just not much action moving around. He has, does that have anything? And then under the bottoms of the feet also needs something. Not 100% sure what that is. We're just going to take care of it. Okay. And then we have also there is a vertebra that is very ever so slightly out of place. Popping that back in, Holy Ones, thank you. And wanting to ask before the next movement, is he feeling that? And is it okay to load the upgrade for him? He's got a really big one over his head.
He was saying whatever you needed to do, do that. And he said no DG first. I'm not sure if that's digestion or what. I'm not sure.
Okay, so loading in the upgrade is what we're going to do now. So Craig, please to close your eyes and feel it come in now. So what is going on there is, I think some of those things I was seeing, if he does actually have a digestive thing, moving around is going to be important. I don't think he's getting enough getting up during the day. It also could be just a sluggish situation, and I feel like he's not. So hold on a minute here. He's definitely not drinking enough water by like a half. And if he thinks he is, it's because of the new energy that's coming in, especially in the last couple days. So it's more to drink the water. And I'd like him to describe what's the digestive issue, please.
Well, he said, I sit a lot and think a lot, yes, but and love to think.
Yeah, sitting and thinking. Yeah. So thinking's not bad. It's just that when you create the little blue cloud around your head, it's not helping you any. And what's going on about the thinking is you're cogitating in a way that makes me think of like a little bit of what do you call that? Anxiety, a little bit. And so what they're doing is they're slowing it down on your far right. So when I look at your brain, it's a series of triangles, and they're all doing something different. They all mean something. And your triangle that's on the far right is hyped up a little bit, meaning that it's like jacked up, I guess. It needs to be flat in my work. And so what they're doing is they're flattening it out, and then they're combing it back together so that the anxiety won't be as prevalent. Now, every once in a while, I'll meet somebody who says, I don't have anxiety, and it's because you're feeling it and giving it a different name. But if it lives in that final triangle, it's anxiety-like something. That's all I can tell you. So you've also got something going on around your neck that they're relieving right now, and that could be a cause to feel anxiety right there. That's a possibility. That's a past life thing. You didn't ask about a past life thing, but that was being taken down. So how do you feel now, my dear?
A few seconds ago, he said, not lately, I haven't been. But how do you feel, Craig?
So he could be speaking about the anxiety, maybe.
Okay,
but
he says, no digestion issues. Craig, we were just confused on what the DG means. We weren't sure if that's digestion or what.
Yeah, because what I was saying is all those symbols, the not moving around very much, it just looks like his lower extremities from belly down is slowed down. So as you can probably tell, sometimes people have symbols that are their very own. I'll meet nobody else with that symbol. Sometimes symbols mean one thing or a bunch of things. So you just kind of got to figure out what's going on. So my guides are never going to follow me. They're always going to follow themselves. So it's always operator error for me. So if the person tells me, no, I don't really don't know what you're talking about, and I continue with them, we can figure out why do you have the symbol you do. So instead of when I went down the path of the digestion, the important thing is something like that triggered for us, and so moving around is going to be much better for you no matter what. So I hope that makes sense.
That's some great advice, and I hope that helps. Dawn was needing some help, just a general reading, I suppose.
And is this DON or DAWN?
DAWN.
Okay, DAWN. Okay, so Dawn, you are showing me that your eyes are above your aura. Again, just simply a symbol. That means either you have had one traumatic thing or a series of traumatic things that has shown me that you have popped out. So Mr. Tesla is the person that's going to help you. And so if you close your eyes, please, I'd like you to feel yourself maybe a little lighter. Sometimes people feel heavy. It's just my guides are working on you now, so you'll probably feel a little something. Maybe touch on the front part of your forehead. Oftentimes they start like that. And there it goes. Okay, so now we watch the aura come back up over the head. The color comes back up. All right, and can I see my third symbol there? That second symbol, I do not know what that means. Okay, I'd like to know if you had an impact on your body in some way. Would mean some kind of an accident or fall. Second thing I'm looking at for a whole different category is you're behind a blue line, which means you're stuck in some way. That's one of my many different ways of understanding stuck. So I can only get you to down about halfway on the beach. When you're fully immersed with your little feeties in the water, that means I can give more of a message. So we need to get you to that point. There's something going on with your low back. Do you understand any of that? So what we're going to do until she responds, what we're going to do is we're going to take off every last thing that's going on with her so that she feels free in her low back area. And there's a very different symbol, which almost looks like a curving under of the tailbone, but I don't know if that's it because I'm on to the next symbol. It's just something about low back. So
She
what they're
says,
doing is
I have had a couple impacts, yes, on the back.
Okay, great. Okay, so they're just getting me back there. So even though it looks like a tail, it's obviously not a tail. They're just taking it down. They're just showing me back area. So that's coming down. You might be able to feel maybe a little adjusting of your energy where you might feel like you're lying on a cloud of air, or you might be able to feel all my folks around you. Okay. There's also a, let's find out. There's also a little soul around you too, connected in some way. And so what they're doing is they're taking down the symbols that will cause you to be done. And what they're doing is they're giving you a emotional release, and then a removal of something that's right in the front part of your head, nose area. Feels like it's congested in some way. I'm not sure what I'm seeing, but they're clearing that out. Sinus area. Now that's like a, nope, I'm going to stay on that. Okay. And so now they're standing you back up. You're looking much better. You're closer to the water now. Does any of that make sense, or do you have any understanding yet?
And we're just waiting on that response.
Yeah, that's fine. We've said about a million things, but then the next thing is now she's having an attachment from the arm being removed, where she is connected. Individual feels female to me, and that is a release that's going to be good for her and also the female. So what I would most want to know is how she's feeling now, and how is the body feeling.
Dawn, are you feeling any effects from what Mari has done for you? Are you feeling any better?
Okay, so while she is talking about that or thinking about that, I am going to follow my guide a little further. So here we go. Yeah, so this thing that kind of stops her in one way or another, that blue line is being taken down, but she's willing to go back behind it. So
She
what
says,
I would encourage...
feeling a bit lighter.
Okay, good. What I would encourage her to do is to keep going forward with whatever it is that has been stopping her recently. So Holy Ones, does she have a will to do better in this? And yeah, we're beefing that up. So whatever your will to get beyond this blue line, you actually have it, but there's something going on with you that's causing you to going back to what is causing the block in the first place. You keep going back. And it could even be to another person, because I see people all around you, not sure who everybody is. Because you can tell if you've got like a 2-minute reading on somebody, the most important thing will always be health, in my guide's belief. And so no matter what your question is, you'll always get healing, because we want to leave you feeling better than you did before. And so that's how I will end it. But keep on moving forward, my dear.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Mari.
Yes.
Christopher, are you on the line?
Yes, I am.
Hi, Christopher. What did you have for Mari?
I've had a very disturbing precognitive dream. It's not about myself.
Okay. Okay.
You
want me to just go on that?
Yes.
Okay. And then don't give me any more information, but just answer this question if you would. Have you had that dream before?
Yes.
Okay. How often would you say you did?
Several.
Several times. Okay. All right. So what we want to know, we want to ask questions of my guide, is did the brain look like this before the dream? Okay? And where is this coming from? Okay? So sometimes do you feel like your thoughts are a little scattered, or you feel a little unclear in some way?
Yeah.
Okay. So what we want to do is we want to work on that. And I'll be able to answer your question in a minute, but we want to take this down because it's impacting why you're having the dream. Okay? So my guide Nione is going to touch you. You may feel a little bit of pressure. It's very loving. My guide is so loving and kind. Maybe a little bit of pressure on your head, and you might feel that rising up where you lie in the cloud of air, and here you go. Just want you to relax into this. Might feel a little bit of expansion in your head. You might feel a little tug. So this is kind of out of the left field, but have you always felt a little bit alone, my dear?
Yeah.
Okay. So you have apparatus on your head that you don't need anymore. It's from a past life. So you are certainly a galactic individual, one of my peeps for sure. So what they're doing is they're taking this stuff out, and then, hold on a minute. All right, and then so also there's movement which shows me what's around your head, and that has to go. That's vibration around your head. You might feel this. And this is an emotional adjustment through my guides, adjusting your hips, and then it's a liver clearing, which is interesting. Okay, and then I also feel like, have you been feeling sad recently?
Yeah, it's the dream is global, though, the event.
Okay, well, we're going to get to the dream, but we want to get you in better shape, okay?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so what we're doing is we're working on your emotions now. And then I'll get to it. Trust me, we're going to get to that. Do you have trouble sleeping?
Yeah.
Okay, so what we want to ask the questions is why you are. It's still coming back that it's your thought process. And so when I look through the brain, you've got a little something going on in mid-brain that you don't need anymore, and they're going to take that down. Okay, so now we're back to the dream. Okay, so looking at the dream so Nione, everybody, is this dream something that is actually going to happen? Is this dream something that keeps coming up from subconscious that is being activated or aggravated by the thought pattern? And that's what I'm getting. So my guide Ra is going to step in. So you are going to have another healing here, my dear. And so I'd like you to just close your eyeballs, please, as my guide Ra works on you, R-A. So hold on. There you go. Now, were you able to feel all that?
Yeah.
Okay, I bet you were. So I'd like you to be really kind to yourself tonight. So drink a bunch of water, have something yummy. Try not to worry about that dream, okay?
Yeah, you can tell that my abilities have spiked.
Yeah,
I've become more psychic.
Yeah, it's happened to a lot of us. So please do not get worried about this. It's a natural occurring thing. Humans are just opening up. This is all positive. Don't get twisted around. You're going to feel a lot better. That a lot of that stuff it's old. It's an old scaffolding around your body that you don't need anymore. That's not your body. It's done. So you have a new body now. You're human this time, fortunately or unfortunately, right?
Yeah, I remember this past life you're talking about. It's like thousands of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been human ever since.
All right.
I've been through like 50 lives.
So
the one you're speaking of was like 2,300 years ago.
Uh-huh.
I was an alien.
So just remember, you're a human now, so treat your body really well. Lots of water. Try not to get stressed out. I mean, I can say that all day, and people get stressed out anyway, but I still have to say it.
Yeah. You're an old soul, too.
What's that?
You're an old soul as well.
Yeah, you know what they call old souls? Those that can't learn very easily. We come back to try it again, right? I'm pretty much ready to go on after this. I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to go home anytime they're ready for me. So, okay,
Same as me.
I'll see you out there amongst the stars, my dear.
Have a great night, and thank you.
You too,
Thanks,
honey.
Christopher.
All right.
All right, so our next question comes from Andy, and he's wondering, am I on the right spiritual path in life at this moment? And he was also looking for a healing.
Okay, gosh, that's a big one there, right? Spiritual path. I would say, do you feel peaceful? Do you feel loved? Do you feel excited about helping? Do you feel that sort of thing? Because then you would be. If you don't feel like yourself, or you feel judged, or you feel as though it's not supporting you in some way, and I'm not talking about growth, because growth sometimes is hard, but you feel like you want to do it. So that's a question that you could always answer. I just see, when I look above your head, I see pink and golden light. Also see that you got a little block, and we're going to remove that block. Okay, and my guide just takes that away effortlessly. You've also got a little bit of energy around your chakras above your head. We're going to take that down. And then may I see the crown chakra looks beautiful. The third eye chakra looks great. Chakra system, A-okay. Okay? And aura system, Holy One. So you've got something going on in your aura. So we're going to work on this now. So I'd like you to close your eyes, please. You had a lot of energy coming out of your aura. So hold on a moment. So I'd like you to answer the question, are you a healer? Can you answer that, please?
And we're just waiting on that slight delay. Andy, are you a healer, or do you feel as such?
So until you get this message back, I'm just going to go forward. So if this person isn't, this person ought to be.
He says no.
Okay, but you could be, though, because of the colors I'm seeing and the fact that I just tested your hands, and you do have healing abilities. So you heard my rap, hopefully, about I'm hoping that everybody in the world could learn how to do Reiki, but you could really help folks. You could help yourself. So if you're already on a spiritual path, what a great next step for you. It looks like you're ready to make a move. You are so ready. Your whole upper body is going forward, but your lower body is not. So it's kind of like the will is there, but you haven't made the steps yet. All you have to do is make that first step, because every step after that is in place for you. So I hope this makes sense to you. You've also got some animals, so seals, dolphins, etc., out in the water. So let's find out. So you have a lot of elementals around you. Some of the you would be a person that would love animals, that you would be a person that would be happy outside. You'd also be available to feel energy of the little people, all the way up to the biggest of the elementals, which is Sasquatch. So just be open for that kind of thing. So I'd love to know, did he respond?
He said, I would love to be a healer.
Okay, go for it, my dear. Because when I test your hands, I get that 6-inch ring, And when I look at the color in your aura, you're all beautiful and pink and like really amped. So that just means that that can happen. And my guide is saying, oh, yes, yes. That's my guide that gets really excited. So she's like, oh, yes, yes. So I hope I've helped you, my dear.
Thanks so much for that, Mary, and thanks, Andy, for asking your question. All right, we have one here from Sandra, and she was just wanting a general reading.
Okay, so let's look at Sandra. Okay, so it looks like you are either looking a certain way or being a certain way, but inside, I can see your body like a body inside of a body. So we don't know what that is quite yet. Okay, so just hold that in your back pocket for a minute till we figure it out. You are having an aura or a throat expression in your chakra there that tells me that you're not saying what you need to say when you need to say it. So when my guide takes off that covering, inside is the truth-telling crystal. It's just one of my symbols. That means that you have built up kind of a ring around your throat, which is, it's a block. It's just a block symbol. And that would mean that you would be needing to be around people who don't massage the truth, because that would turn you sideways. You've also got a spin in your aura, which has come from something. So we're going to take the spin down to Mr. Tesla. We're going to beef up the aura a little bit and bring that all back pretty. So can I see the aura? The thing is the aura, when I take a look at my pendulum, the aura is giving me a 10-4 reading, like I'm reading the clock, and it needs to be a beautiful 6-inch circle, just like I've talked about before. And now you're back to where you are. I see you go all the way down to childhood with this. So there's something that went on with you that went back to there. I also see that you're available for a healing through the Holy Mother. So here we go. So there was a lot of emotional release. Thank you, Holy One. And that is, there's anger. And I'm going to ask if you would hand that to me. So will you hand me that? Oh, much better. That looks so much better the second time. Okay, awesome. So that's good. So keep working on yourself. You know, when the higher up ones, when the Holy Ones give you a release of emotion, and that goes for everybody tonight, that's just the beginning. That means they took a chunk out of you, but you're responsible for all your stuff after that. So if you've got something going back that's really bothering you, like say your partner left you or your mom wasn't around or there's something that hurt you deeply, go back and write it out. Choose a trusted friend to explain it. Take it down and give your pain to the Holy Mother. Put it at her feet. She says that she will take that. She encourages you to do that. And I would like to know if you understand any of that, because there's something really special I'd like to do if you're saying that you understand that.
Just waiting on the slight delay between here and there.
Yep. You're also having the ability to have an upgrade. So here it comes. So what I'd like to tell everybody is a few people had an upgrade, and I hope you felt that.
Sure, yes.
Okay. So let me just say my thought here, and then we'll go on to that next little thing here. Everybody can do the upgrade now. There's enough energy that everybody can do it. And all you do is just say, I am ready for the energetic upgrade. So you just ask your guides and wait just a few seconds. Then you take your fingers or your mind and you open your crown chakra, and you will feel the drop-in of the upgrade. To me, it looks like a triangle, but it comes into the head, and it's revolving triangles in the inside of the head, and then light will pass. So you'll feel that it's just a light. It's an addition of light. But again, that helps with the ascension symptoms. So it's really, really healing to do. And then if she would like to do this, I would like her to see her inner child, please. So just close your eyes, picture your inner child. You'll be able to see a child at the age that you first had something happen in your life that was difficult. I'd like you to say the words, I invite my inner child into my higher self. And you should feel that. I saw that come in. So now the inner child is now in with your higher self, and you will not be triggered by issues from when you were small. You also have a piece of the soul to reabsorb. So here we go. Okay, my dear, that's all for you. I hope that helped.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. And when you said everyone could receive that and close your eyes, and I actually felt a tingling at the top of my head. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. That is not my work. That is work from Spirit through my dear friend Lobo del Sol, and he taught that to us on a video the other day, and I did it, felt it, and has been helping people with that ever since. So bless you, Lobo, and thank you all so much for calling in tonight. I really appreciate it, getting to meet everybody.
That's amazing. I know we have just a couple minutes left. I'm not sure if that's enough time for another reading.
I'll give it a whack if it's.
Okay. Lily was saying, will I move house? Should I trust my ex with this move?
Gosh. Let's just try the will I move in the house. So hold on a minute. Yeah, there's been something going on, it seems like, with her where it hasn't been, it's like it's been decided and undecided, or going forward and not going forward. And that could just be in her own heart about moving. So it's about her own thinking, that if she decides, she hasn't decided because the stepping stones in front of her feet down to the water are not there. So there's a decision to be made. So make the decision, decide whether you're going to go, how this is going to look, and then jump in. Because, right, you have to have a decision before Providence steps in. So you don't have your decision made yet. And I think there's a little bit of holding back on the ex's part, but this is about you, not the ex. So go forward and do your best. Make up your mind and take the bull by the horns, as it were. You've also got a connection to the ex that needs to come down. So here we go. You also look like, let's see, your head's over to the side for some reason. So let's see what's there. That might be a little bit of inflammation. We're going to take that. And then when I go down to your feet are together. So no way are you going to be able to go ahead if we do that. So that's going to come off. Thank you, Naomi. And hopefully you can understand what I'm saying. And that's all I get.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for that, Mary. Can you give our audience your links to get in touch with you?
Sure. You can see me on Facebook under my name, Mari Beckman, MariBeckman. You can call me at 206-291-6047, 206-291-6047 in Tacoma. You can find me on YouTube under the Spirit Orb in a Bar. And I also can be found with Mari Beckman Psychic. And I think that's about it, really, unless you guys want to come visit me in Tacoma. It's a beautiful city. I love it. Just moved here about a year ago, and I want to give a little thanks to my husband, Tom, who helped me with all the techie stuff, because that's just the kind of guy he is.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tom, for that. And thank you so much, Mary, for coming out. We really, really appreciate you being here tonight. And thank you so much to everyone in SOR, Facebook, Spreaker, Twitter, and wherever else you may be listening in the universe. I had a wonderful time. It was my pleasure, literally and figuratively. I can't wait to do it again next Sunday on Spaced Out Sundays here at spacedoutradio.com. Until next time, nighty-night, love and light to all my space cases. And don't forget, we are all in this together. Together we can make the world a little better. And together, my friends, we own the night. You guys have a great evening and a wonderful week. Love and light to you all.
I will start till I reach the top just to be there with you.